It's the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco on Speed 51, and it is a beautiful Monday morning here in the Carolinas. I'm sure it's going to be hot and sticky pretty soon, but loving the morning life here for sure. I'm Bob Dillner. Alongside of me is Wesley Outland this week here on the Morning Bullring. We got the whole gang here in the house as well. And a big, big happy birthday to one man, Cody Geyer, 21 years old. We couldn't have him on the microphone here because he started celebrating at midnight last night.
Yes, he did. I thought I saw him at Twin Peaks last night. Yeah.
Oh, Cody, what are we going to do with you? Anyway, we got plenty to talk about in the world of short track racing here today on Speed 51's Morning Bullring. It was an interesting weekend, to say the least.
A lot of great racing. Rainouts again.
Yeah.
Go figure. Did the math in all of my itinerary paperwork for the last 6 months, and this is rainout number 22 of the season for me.
22.
With Kentucky, Florence, Kentucky getting postponed.
Yeah, but you went from Florence, Kentucky to the WKA on the dirt at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the dirt track. So I saw you dabbled from one state to the next.
Yes, that was fun. That was really cool. That is something interesting, and it's going to be back next year, but it's going to be in March instead of in June.
Yeah, and that leads me to a big question.
600 entries.
600 entries. Wait, from the road course and the dirt track, or just the dirt track?
I didn't even get to go to the. I didn't even go to the Roval or to the other speedway for the Manufacturers Cup. Just for the dirt program itself, they had 600 entries.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes,
karting industry very strong, but at the same time, very. Animated,
yes.
Drama-filled,
yes.
Tire-soaking,
yes.
So much stuff to talk about in the world of karts. Anyway, Mackie Flood, a good buddy of ours, was actually filling me in last week about all the karting scene. But we're going to talk about the world of short track racing. 100% short track racing is what Speed 51 is. Want to say thank you to the folks from Hyperco for being the presenting sponsor on our show. And remember, you can go to hypercoils.com, find out more information. We'll tell you about a little contest they're going to have. We're also going to give away 2 tickets to Full Throttle Weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in September. All you need to do, we're going to give away couple things here today on the Morning Bullring. All you need to do is share this Facebook post to be eligible to win one of our prizes, which includes that Full Throttle Weekend, that big modified race for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour at New Hampshire Motor Speedway later on this year in September. They just had a great weekend this past weekend with the New England Short Track Showdown. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the pass race there, the modified race. We're going to be talking about dirt, pavement. We're 100% short track racing. It doesn't matter between those two, honestly. And if you don't like that, get lost, honestly, because we love all of short track racing.
Yeah, we did it. And you were at Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly known as the Gateway.
I screwed it up once.
Raceway. I figured you were.
I screwed it up once, but it was off air. It was only for rehearsal.
Okay.
I went to go say it for the first time in my on-air presence. And when I did, I totally flubbed it. And I'm like, man, I got to say that right. So, with the 30 seconds I had before we went on the air after I flubbed it, I'm like, okay, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Okay, got it. Anyway, Gateway, ARCA. We're going to have Ty Gibbs on the show from Joe Gibbs Racing. First-time winner in the ARCA Menard Series. We're going to have Ty Majeski on the show. JoJo Wilkinson's going to be on the show. Stan Montgomery, we are going to reveal the outcome of the protest from the Pro Late Model Race in the Show Me the Money series. And we're going to tell you what occurred with that protest. And that's going to be breaking here today on the Morning Bullring. What else we got? We're going to be talking about Lakeview Motor Speedway in South Carolina with the Ultimate Supers going there.
Yeah.
We got Eddie Mack on the show, Eddie McDonald. We have Derek Thorne on the show to kind of preview the upcoming Summer Showdown. That's going to be a blast this coming weekend at Evergreen Speedway in Washington. That's one of the 2 crown jewels of all of super late model racing on the West Coast. But without further ado, let's find out what happened this past weekend. We'll get over to the Bullet Blaze Dillner with the news.
Yesterday at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a part of the New England Short Track Showdown, there was a pair of photo finishes. In the super late model race, it was Eddie McDonald taking down Mike Hopkins at the line, and in the modified race, it was Ronnie Williams taking down Anthony Nacella at the line. And then Ty Gibbs scored his first ARCA Menards Series win this weekend after a last lap pass of Sam Mayer when the two drivers made contact in the final corner, sending Mayer up the track and Gibbs going on to score the win.
Barely. I know some people wrote it like that. Here's how I saw it, honestly.
Okay.
Because I had a good conversation with Lauren Rainier, who is the, manager, consultant, and spotter for Sam Mayer. And what I saw on Saturday was Ty Gibbs was fast. You knew he was coming. He had basically 4 fresh tires. Sam Mayer stayed out under the caution to get the lead. And going into that final corner, you knew Ty Gibbs was going to send it in there like 10 men. Okay, and he did. But I think what happened is if you look at the video that we had live on MAV TV, Sam Mayer had a little hesitation going into the corner. He did one of these, like that. And when he did that, he kind of stayed up just a little bit and then allowed Ty Gibbs to go underneath, barely make contact, and then go by to get the victory. Sam was ticked off. Obviously, Ty Gibbs was very happy. Sam basically said it wasn't a pass when asked about the pass for the lead. How about that?
Ty Majeski won the Dick Trickle 99 at Dell's Racewater Park this weekend in Wisconsin, a part of the Alive for 5 series.
It wasn't raining up at the Dells this week. Not Dells Racewater Park, Raceway Park. Okay. I got to pick on me, my son. But doing a great job with the news. But awesome. The Trickle 99, awesome to see Ty Majeski. Caution-free, I understand, for that particular race. That was pretty impressive.
The NASCAR Xfinity regular Noah Gragson picked up a NASCAR K&M West Series victory at Sonoma this weekend after Ryan Preece got black flagged with a restart violation.
All right, let's talk about that.
That was a good one.
Let's talk about that. We might have to hold the news here. Tom, we might need to bring up that video as posted by NASCAR Home Tracks, I believe, because I thought it was a bunch of baloney that Ryan Preece got the black flag there. Mark Keeler also in the house this morning. Mark, you're nodding your head to me. Yes.
I have a nickname for now, Mark Keeler.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he looks a little
He's
pink this
wearing
morning. by the
red.
way.
Yeah,
He's wearing red, and this is the morning Bullring. So his nickname from Wesley Outland is Raging Bull.
it's actually kind of funny.
What's up, Mark?
To answer Bob's question, thank you, Wesley.
You like it?
I 100% agree. Yes, he might have gone a split second before the flag man, gave the green flag, but to me, he timed it perfect. And I saw some things back and forth, because in his comments with Claire B. Lang, which was hilarious, by the way, somebody filmed his
that was
his
great.
interview with Claire B. and he showed some passion, and which is always good. The only thing I like about it, I hate it for Ryan Preece. The only thing I like about it is it's 2 weeks in a row that the NASCAR K&M West Series is on the national stage and getting attention.
You apparently need to get Tom a cord and pump up the news music once again because I don't think Bullet Place was done with the news. We'll get back to the video.
T-Mac Timmy McCready picked up a win at the Firecracker 100 this weekend with taking the lead on the high groove with 4 laps to go to take down several big names like Darrell Lanigan and Brandon Shepard.
Hashtag Lucas Strong. Of course, I'm part of the Lucas family with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series.
And he wasn't in the 39 car.
He was in the 6.
He was in
six,
the K&L Rumley
six,
car.
But still, Lucas
Yeah.
Oil regular. I know, former Outlaws champion. I get it. But at the same time, nice to see old T-Mac really strong with Longhorn and Rumley right now. They are really, really bad fast right now.
Bubba Pollard in the Southern Super
Bubba.
Series events this weekend at Five Flag Speedway picked up another win, and this is his 7th Blizzard Series victory in the last 10 races.
That's incredible. Wow. I didn't realize. He hasn't run all of them, but 7 wins in the last 10 races he's won.
Yep, 19th, courtesy of Elgin Statboy Trailer, who texted me right at the checkered flag, his 19th Blizzard Series win, his 26th overall Five Flag Speedway win.
So you solicited the help to do some, work from and get information.
Oh, I didn't solicit it. Trust me, when it comes to Elgin and stats, you don't have to solicit it at all.
Especially for the Southern Super
Exactly.
Series.
But Bubba, once again, it was a pass on the outside. And some minor controversy. Some people think that he got into Jesse Dutilli and caused a wreck there. It was actually a car in front of them that spun that caused a wreck.
What did Dutilli think?
I honestly didn't talk to Dutilli. I'm pretty sure that we will have that on the Speed 51 network later today if it's not already.
You were
up,
the manager there. You should know all
I was-
coming
I
out of
was
that event. No,
punching for Mav TV.
You were the manager. You
But,
say I'm the lead dog. You should know the information.
Yeah, but well, and there were a lot of people online that were saying, "Oh, he wouldn't have won if he didn't wreck," and then people whining and saying, "Oh, I didn't see him protesting anybody this week." Well, yeah, you don't protest when you win. That's just stupid. So
Protest himself.
Yeah, exactly. But no, awesome race. 5 flags delivered once again.
Let us know if you have any questions, by the way, about anything going on in the world of short track racing. What else was going on this weekend, BD?
The Dirt Car Summer Nationals race this weekend at Fairbury Speedway on Saturday. It was Brian Shirley who earned his 3rd Dirt Car Nationals victory in the late models, and it was Mike Harrison who picked up his first on the season in the mods.
The King, Mike Harrison.
Squirrel!
And Squirrel. How many octaves did you just go up for that?
He just pulled a Jacob Seelman.
He
there.
did.
Squirrel!
Jacob Seelman. Quick time. Anyway.
Another day slide job!
Yeah, slide job. Yeah, absolutely. But lots of good racing going on in the Hell Tour this summer for sure. I was disappointed because Tri-City got rained out on Friday night.
And they got rained out last night, too.
Bummer.
Former Fast Track star Ryan Montgomery picked up the Mid-Ohio Valley Series win at I-77
Yes.
Speedway this weekend.
Props to Flying Ryan.
Flying Ryan. Were you going to give me a fist bump or something? You look like you were.
like that,
Oh, okay.
man.
Yeah.
I thought Flying Ryan was Ryan Ayers.
No, well,
Or Ryan Newman.
There's Flying Ryan Ayers
You're
in
like
modifieds.
stuttering there.
And by the way, he won at County Line Raceway for the Dirt Cup Challenge on Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
He did.
Good.
But Flying Ryan Montgomery is a former fast track racer.
So do you call any Ryan flying?
No,
He'll be on the show too.
actually,
Leslie.
his nickname was Flying
He will?
Chicken, and they asked
Yeah.
me to change it.
He's on today.
Okay, I didn't know that. There you go.
He actually had a nickname a long time ago called Flying Chicken.
I
We
don't know
had to
how the
change
heck
it.
we're going to squeeze him in, but we'll squeeze him in. What else? Anything?
Nope, that's all the news.
That's it?
That's
You can have
it.
more at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll have more.
Okay. All right. Then 10 forward. Lots going on here in short track racing. And do we have any videos yet? Yes. Well, then bring it up. Let's go. Come on. Show us something. I don't know what we're going to see here. Maybe we'll see the Ryan Priest thing.
When it's live, it's live.
We're getting
exactly.
a boo on Facebook. Richard Deal said boo on the Ryan Priest talk.
Boo on the Ryan
I don't know
Priest
if
talk.
that means he agrees with the
I think it's
black
probably
flag
boo,
or
then, yeah, black flag.
So we did have Brad
Ryan.
Souza that says it was complete BS, such a bad call. But I want to give a shout out real quick. John Midkiff, who's congratulating Augie Grill on his Modifieds of Mayhem win. He's the flag man at Montgomery, and he chimes in or tunes in every single Monday morning. So shout out to John Midkiff, and thank you for tuning in. So it looks like the first video we're actually going to look at is from Atomic Speedway.
Oh, my.
And big weekend there.
All-Stars,
And,
right?
Tom, see if you can back it up. There
Yeah,
we
it was
go.
the All-Stars.
yeah, the
there.
All-Star
Check
Circuit
this
of
out.
Champions.
White
Check
flag
this
lap.
Friday night.
And watch this car ride the wall. And I believe this was like the 4th car that went over the fence at Chillicothe, Ohio this past weekend and right into the side of the grandstands. It was reported on social media. And listen, you can take that for what it's worth. But there were some injuries, but none life-threatening is what we were seeing on social media. But just a violent wreck, 1 of 4 at Atomic Speedway in Chillicothe, Ohio this past weekend. That was unreal, Wesley.
The gentleman that is wearing the white shirt and the black pants, and they've actually already put a post on the Atomic Speedway social media, he suffered a broken leg. But nothing life-threatening.
Where was that?
This was off of turn 3. This was
3.
most recently where Brad McCowan done work on the wall because
Yeah.
the last time I was at Atomic Speedway was you were there, but it got rained out. I think they had done work on the back straightaway, but the last time I was there was last July, and that wall was like really, really lower.
Okay.
So they just recently put that up there. But again, from the angle, Bob, it didn't go into the grandstands per se. Is it's in slow motion now for those that
It
are
looks like
watching?
it just hit the side
in
of
It
the
hit
grand-
the
yeah.
side of the grandstand.
They're very fortunate that
But they stopped the race. Or they continued everything else.
Yeah, they had the dirt late models.
that
and
was
some
the
other
white
things.
flag right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
from what I saw, they originally canceled the remainder of the night and then came back once they realized that the injuries were non-life threatening and finished out the night, the other feature races that night.
Right.
yeah, that was just crazy when I saw that. In fact, that was a talk at Gateway on Saturday because this incident was from Friday night. And of course, like Wesley was talking about, if you go on the dirt tracking game, Atomic Speedway is one of my favorites
Yes.
to honestly play on that with the dirt late model. And, you always used to put the right rear with the dirt late model just before that wall began in turn number 3. But now that wall is different over there with some new modifications and so forth. And you saw what happened there. Just a wild, wild wreck. Understand the driver was okay. Unfortunately, a couple of spectators were injured. We certainly wish them a very speedy recovery.
And also, if you look at it, also here from New York,
Oswego Speedway.
Oswego, yes, this
Super
was
modifieds right there in a fiery incident on Saturday night at Oswego Speedway. And you could see the track crew doing a good job to put out those flames.
They got the driver out of the
quickly.
car.
Yes. And I understand everybody's okay there as well, but that was an unreal sight there. Just a burst of flames at what we like to call the Steel Palace.
Don't they run? Don't those cars, the super modifieds, don't they burn alcohol, or are those regular
Methanol.
racing fuel? So, because I was curious when I first saw the pictures, because
The color.
methanol, yeah, it burns clear. So I'm curious what actually erupted there. It could have, I guess it could have been an
I
oil
don't
line or
believe
something,
it
but
was a
not with that
super
much
modified.
flame.
It might have been a 350.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super modified. I don't know all the clarifications because they have a couple of different classes of super modifieds up there now. So maybe the 350 super modifieds, and maybe if you want to chime in on our Facebook live feed or on Twitter or something like that right now, let us know if you know what the situation was up there. But just a scary, scary sight at Oswego Speedway. Love that place. Went up there for years for the Bud Classic, Labor Day. Saw super modified racing, you name it. Oswego Speedway is a heck of a venue.
It is. It definitely is. And, while we're showing all these things happening at Atomic and Oswego also, Bob, I emphasize racers, promoters, series sanctioning bodies, safety. We need to really take a look at grassroots racing regionally and nationally for safety.
Well, they did a great job at Oswego. I will say
Yes,
that.
yes.
And on getting to that, I think we have one more video coming up here. Take a look at this. We'll replay it a couple of times over. The
Last
madman
night.
Robert Ballou last night. Sprint cars in Indiana. That's Kokomo, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Kokomo, Indiana. Take a look at this. A slower car gets involved. Two slower cars get together coming off of turn number 4. Ballou here is leading, coming to the checker. What a way to win a race. Winds up upside down.
Yeah, again, the car on the tail end of the lead lap hit the wall, coming to the checkered flag. and
After
then all of a
contact
sudden
with another
Ballou-
car. Watch,
Yes.
right there.
Yeah. I want to say that blue car is McDougal's car.
Jason McDougal.
Yeah, 71. I think it is. No, it's not.
Hard to
It's
tell.
close, though, but there's Robert Ballou, and we know him, number 12 from California.
Wow. Incredible.
And
That car
understanding he
stops
broke his
on a
arm.
dime.
And
just
that
right
video
there.
is on Facebook right now.
Boom.
Somebody posted it there last night. Just an incredible run. And like I said, here you are, jubilant coming off of turn number
Excited.
4, excited. Then there's a car there and you wind up upside down.
Yeah.
I want to see the Victory Lane celebration. If anybody has any video from Victory Lane last night at Kokomo, Indiana with Robert Ballou, I want to see it because I want to see if he's dazed and confused or if he's just like pumping his fist in the air, because he just won the race. So unreal video there. Let's go to the Hyperco hotline right now, and we'll bring in Brandon Paul, the editor of Speed 51. What do you think about all those videos we just showed, Brandon?
A lot of craziness this weekend, up and down all over the country. Man, I feel like every time I flipped on social media, it was something new that was going viral. I mean, we know how all these videos, whether it's fire or a crash, the second they're posted, they seem to go viral pretty quickly. But craziness.
It was complete craziness, and we thank you for all the comments on social media. Keep them coming. We want to know where you're watching from. Take a picture, post it. Whether you're in the car and listening, make sure you do it at a stoplight, or if you're at home brushing your teeth, maybe having coffee, breakfast, you name it. We want to see where you're watching from. Tweet us or put it on our thread here on this Facebook Live and let us know. You never know. We might feature it here. Tom Ryan's got one more thing for us. What you got, Tommy?
He's given a plus sign.
It looks like he didn't make it to Victory Lane. Looks like he went to the right to the ambulance.
Oh, bummer. Hopefully he was all right. Got checked out. I was told that he was okay. So
Broken arm.
He's got
Okay.
he's got broken
broken
arms. Yeah.
Cody said.
okay. Wow. Unreal for Robert Ballou. But Jim Swan is watching in from South Carolina. Mackie Flood also watching in this
Hey,
morning.
Mackie.
So many different people chiming in on social media. And Brandon Paul, you're on top of social media, you and Zach Evans, every single Monday morning.
Oh yeah, a lot of comments coming in. Bradley Gainey watching from the Taylor's Bridge Fire Department in Clinton, North Carolina. Thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, people all over the country tuning in. We call her Mama Oxford, Kathy Roberti. She was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend, the Magic Mile, where I was. She said we saw some great racing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and we definitely did. I mean, everybody, when you go there, you expect the modified race. I mean, Bob, covered a lot of modified racing there throughout the years. You expect it, but the past super late models as well. Just two, I don't want to call them photo finishes because you could tell who won, but I mean, it was both races. They were drag races from turn 4 to the start finish line, the granite stripe at the Magic Mile. Just some terrific racing all across the board at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend, and we are going to have today highlights of both of those races on the Speed 51 network. I know I'm excited to see them, and I was there, so definitely looking forward to that.
I got 2 questions for you. You just brought up the granite stripe. Do they actually have a granite stripe now at the line? We're looking at a picture of Ronnie Williams and Anthony Nacella in the black car on the inside to the line by a half a car length at best, honestly. That's how much he lost the race, did Anthony Nacella. But do they really have a granite stripe there now, like the Brickyard put the bricks?
They do. They have a
Really?
granite stripe.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you don't believe it, I think somewhere on the internet there's probably a picture of Connor Sullivan kneeling on that granite stripe.
Wow.
Did he kiss the granite? That's what I want to know.
He didn't kiss it. We'll have to do that the next time.
Yes, September, full throttle weekend, mid-September there for the NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour. I want a picture.
Look at the finish.
Like this.
Wow.
Of course, Mike Hopkins and Eddie Mack to the line, even closer than the Modifieds there for the Pro All-Star Series national event as well as a Northern Series event. That was an incredible race there and great advertising placement for Foxwood Resort and Casino right there. I will say that. That was very smart because you knew they'd have some pictures of a photo finish, and that is great advertising for that casino in Connecticut. Anyway, the other thing that I want to ask you about is I understand Track Bites debuted. We're going to see that video this week on Speed 51 where we're going to be going around to different places in America, different racetracks, and testing out their track food. Well, this weekend, I was actually hoping, sorry, D. Griff, I apologize. I wasn't hoping for D. Griff to do the evaluation. I was hoping for Connor Sullivan to do the evaluation of the food. But how did it go with D. Griff and Connor Sullivan?
It went good, and the thing is, they both reviewed it. They both got cheeseburgers. And you'll see they did some different things to them. So the burgers were a little bit different with the toppings that were on them. But they both did the review. Did the review of the cheeseburgers, and it's definitely entertaining. So you'll like it. It's going to be juicy. That's all I'll say.
Wait a second, though. Wait a second. You went with burgers? You're in New Hampshire. You're in the land of lobster. Okay?
Lobster.
Don't they have anything more special than burgers to try at New Hampshire Motor Speedway?
Honestly, not really. They don't. The smoke shack is what it's called in the infield. Really didn't have. I mean, they just had your basic stuff for the most part.
Okay.
They don't have anything too fancy. So
New Hampshire Motor Speedway's got to step it up.
They don't do the lobster mac and cheese like they have in the media center?
Right.
No, not for sale at least. But in one thing, I don't know where they got them. You're going to have to Darrell Canfield or Derek Canfield. But they had a 21-inch hot dog somewhere that they got yesterday. I don't know where they got it.
Well, now that would have been good.
Yes.
Yes. So next time we go back there, if we can find whatever they call it, the 21-inch hot dog, that's what Connor is going to be testing.
Did Darrell or Derek eat the entire thing in one sitting?
No, I think they split it up.
Okay.
They split it up. Yeah.
Brandon, what's the deal with the flowers? What's the deal with
The
the flowers in
flowers,
the picture? Yes.
Well, they had them on the table, so I thought, why not? Why not put the flowers in the shot?
Connor's kind of a rosy guy.
Yeah,
Right.
Con dog. Yeah, I heard about that at Bristol.
Oh
There
my
you go, look
gosh!
at
There,
that.
there we go. A plain burger, yeah, done different ways. That's just typical Connor and D. Griff. Vanilla, guys, vanilla. That's all I have to say.
We need to get him on that 21-inch hot dog. Do it, Lady in the Tramp style. Put D. Griff on one side and Connor on the other, and
With like
get
with
a
the
video
spaghetti,
of it.
you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think I was talking about?
I have no
You're
idea.
old enough. You know that
I have
movie.
no
The Lady
idea.
and the Tramp, come on.
By the way, Andy chiming in, they were 350 Supers at Oswego Speedway with that big fire. So evidently
That
they run
explains it.
different fuel than the other Supers do. So, by the way,
Right.
Josh Berry, congratulations to him. Cars Tour late model stock car victory at Dominion. Zach Evans is going to actually have a story on that here on Speed 51. I believe the first driver to win multiple races this year on the Cars Tour late model stock car, and Zach Evans always in the house. Robbie Johnston here as well. We're proud to have him here. So what do you want, Tommy?
I just want to thank Connor Sullivan for risking his life again this weekend. He put a ton of effort into working this weekend. He did a really good job. Brandon Paul was keeping me abreast.
How did he risk his life?
That's a good question for Connor. Maybe we should call him.
Okay.
It was very up on the top of that tower. It was very, very windy. It was a nice day out. It was a very nice day out. A picture perfect day for racing. But up on the tower, it was, especially Friday. If you look at the highlights on the Speed 51 network of the Super Street feature, you can hear the wind hitting the Nat mic, and you could. Connor was struggling, and I think the best cameraman in the world probably would have struggled with the wind that was up there Friday and Saturday.
Flying Brian Schwartz from Riverhead tuning in this morning. My home track back at Riverhead Raceway in Long Island. Brandon, what else is going on in the world of short track racing? Something you might want to talk about from last week or going ahead to this week before we let you go?
Well, you guys kind of started talking about it, and when I saw the video of the penalty for Ryan Preece on Saturday at Sonoma, that was awful. I'll say it straight up. That was, in my opinion, that was a terrible call. Ryan Preece should have been the winner of that race. If you look at the video and you freeze it where the flagman's starting to drop the green flag, you can see that Preece is barely in front of the car directly behind him. So it wasn't like he had a huge jump before the green flag. I don't think it was a great call at all, especially to take a race away. Just way too much of a penalty for something that was very minuscule at the most. If you even want to say he maybe jumped it a little bit, and I don't even want to say that because based on what I saw, I don't think he did that. I think Preece he had a good restart, and he beat the guy. He beat the guy he was racing against, and unfortunately for him, they took the win away. That was, to me, a terrible call.
Well, we're going to take a look at the video here, honestly, of what happened, Brandon. And you could see Preece get to the start-finish line there earlier. But at the same time, if you look right there, he's side by side. I don't know if we can freeze that, honestly. I know you were trying to do that. But see if we can catch it there. Boom! Right there.
And
he has not jumped right there.
And the flagman has already threw the green in the air.
Yes.
You see it unfurled.
The one thing that Preece said in his interview with Clearby Lang is when he was listening,
Oh.
he knew that Hamrick was in second gear on the restart, so he dropped down a gear so he could get a better launch. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, he was the leader, so he can get to the stripe first, but he got the launch right off the gate.
Yeah, it looks like he hit the gas as soon as he saw
The green
that
flag.
green flag start to go up. And
Yep.
that's what you are trained to do,
Right.
honestly. And you can see it even just before that. He actually jumped, and it's hard for us to stop here just using some video from social media. But right there.
I mean, they're not even at the
they're
restart
fine.
zone box. They're not even at the restart
But
box.
the green
and the
means
flagman
go.
throws the green.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
see the green flag, you go. You show me a form of racing where you don't go on the green flag.
I disagree
Right there.
with that one.
Right there.
Disagree.
Where he paused it, you
Yeah.
can see the green starting to unfurl.
And they're even. They're even right there. Preece just got to the line quicker by virtue of what they were trying to do with, choosing their gears and the restarts and so forth. And Daniel didn't get up to speed. That is not Ryan Preece's fault. What do you think on social media? You tell us. We want to know what you think of this right here and this call to penalize Ryan Preece saying he jumped the restart. Do you agree or disagree, and why? If we get enough social media reaction, maybe we'll do a little story on it on Speed 51.
Bob, he was the leader, though, right? He was the leader
I
coming
think
back
so.
for the restart.
I thought that's what they said.
I think he was the lead car, wasn't he? Yes. So it's like, wouldn't you have the discretion of going first because you're the lead car?
Yeah, you have the discretion of going first, but obviously, let's just to be fair, okay, you can't go until either the green light or the green flag waves.
Right.
But to me,
Like what Joey Logano did at Michigan a few weeks ago.
in my humble opinion, okay, is that Ryan Preece did not jump that restart right there.
No.
I don't believe it, and I believe that in my heart that he didn't jump, and I'm not saying that just because I'm from the Northeast. Because I like Daniel Hemrick, love Noah Gregson, love all those guys. But fair is fair, and I think this was a bad call.
Now, the one thing you're hearing on social media is some people saying it was a makeup call because apparently, which I have not seen video of, they had a similar call with Noah earlier in the race. I haven't seen that one, but I don't care if you're in the restart zone or not. When the green flag is waving from the flagman, that is go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's NASCAR's call on this one. It's their fault.
BP, before we let you go, got a lot of summer thunder coming up, and I know you're looking forward to Seekonk, Massachusetts. Open Wheel Wednesday on, of course, Wednesday night. Summer Thunder TV on Speed 51.
Oh, yeah, that show is always a great show, a midweek show. They pack the place, the Cement Palace, Seekonk Speedway. I think they have nearly 40 modifieds expected to enter. Obviously, entering the race, big money. Matt Hirschman is going to be the favorite. Just has been dominant in those races in years past, but he's going to have some stiff competition. Chuck Hosfeld is making the trip. And then I believe Hosfeld is also going to be racing the following night in the ROC Old Boy Cup at Lancaster National Speedway in New York. So yeah, both of those modified races, looking forward to those this weekend. But like I said, Seekonk, always a good race. I think we're going to probably be doing a review, not so much food, but Dell's Lemonade, frozen lemonade. Connor Sullivan is probably going to be testing that out, so definitely stay tuned for that as well.
And we're going to have a lot more of track bites and sampling of the food around America. Mark Keeler should have done something with Cody Geyer on Saturday night, but I guarantee you by that I just heard on the microphone, they did not do it. Fail to them.
They don't
Fail
take
to them.
credit cards at their concession
Oh,
stand.
my gosh. I know Cody doesn't have a credit card. He's got cash. Oh, my, you guys. Poor Stan doesn't even get his food reviewed. Maybe next time we go
No,
to
but
Montgomery
he's
Motor Speedway
actually
on July
come on-
6th for the Southern Super Series.
He comes on the Bullring
8
more than any other promoter, though.
He's been on twice so far. I don't know. Tim
This will be
Bryant's
never-
there, too.
Yeah, this will be his third time, though.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, it's going to be fun having Stan Harrison on. We are going to announce the results from the protest that Bubba Pollard filed against Casey Roderick the week before in the Show Me the Money series.
No.
Pro late model race.
The 81 car.
Oh, yeah, Anthony
Campy.
Campy. My apologies.
Anthony.
I'm so used to Casey Roderick. I just, I was dyslexic, basically. I swapped the numbers. I went from 1-8 to 8-1, you know what I mean, or vice versa. Anyway, Anthony Campy with Colby Howard there at Montgomery Motor Speedway, and Stan Narrison will be on our Hyperco hotline. And we want to thank the folks from Hyperco for being part of Speed51.com and the Morning Bullring. Remember, we want to invite all racers to go to hypercoils.com. From there, racers can fill out their information and include where they race and what they race, whether they compete in late models, modifieds, dirt, or pavement, a Legends car maybe, doesn't matter. Hyperco has products for you. For each of the next couple of episodes, the Morning Bullring, presented by Hyperco, will give away one set for a race car of coil springs. One lucky winner. Got to check that out. All they have to do is go there and fill out that registration form. All they need to do is tell everybody where they race, what they race, and so forth. And, of course, when they go to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, post a picture of themselves with their car with the hashtags Hyperco and the hashtag Morning Bullring. Hyperco doing a lot in the world of short track racing, and we appreciate them, being part of the Morning Bullring, so we can pay your salary, Wesley.
That's right. And Hyperco, not only for
I was
dirt,
right under
for-
the bus, so smooth.
I was trying to avoid it
was good.
Yeah. Hyperco definitely doing great things. And again, just for dirt, asphalt, modifieds, late model, sprint cars, you name it. Any and everything. So everybody should get
Legends
involved
cars?
with Hyperco. Legends cars, yes.
Absolutely, all sorts of stuff.
Go-karts. Is there go-karts need springs?
Hey,
Maybe.
no, not
Well, we
usually.
know outlaw carts don't.
Yeah, not usually, I don't think. But yeah, hey, it would be better suspension.
That's right.
Less rougher ride. Hey, by the way, we want to give a shout out to your mom. Saw the post on this morning. Speedy recovery to your mom. Obviously, she's home out of the hospital, and that's good news.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's back at home. Obviously, you know, Bob, the announcer life is the traveling life, and sometimes things happen good or bad, and we miss things with our family, and that was just one of those things this weekend. But thank you to everybody that's prayed and kept her in our thoughts, and we're good.
And I know that she is going to be supporting you and all your endeavors. Wesley and I will head to Lakeview Motor Speedway this weekend for the Ultimate Supers. That's Saturday. But coming up on the morning Bullring, Eddie McDonald will actually be on the Hyperco hotline. We have all sorts of guests as well. JoJo Wilkinson, Ty Gibbs, Ty Majeski. It's a tie brigade here on the morning Bullring presented by Hyperco today. Two ties going back to back. 8:30 for Ty Gibbs, 8:45 this morning. We will talk to Wisconsin's own Ty Majeski. We'll be right back here on the morning Bullring.
The Fast Track National Tour races into I-77 Speedway on Friday, July 12th, and Tyler County Speedway on Saturday, July 13th.
Speed 51's video network, where the battles are legendary. Get the full picture on short track racing. We will take you behind the scenes.
Just a meathead.
Your track, your driver, your sport, your passion. Dirt, late models, modifieds, and more. Race highlights, recaps, interviews, historic races, and thousands of on-demand videos. The Speed 51 Network, short track racers' home for the greatest video coverage.
Love the comments coming in on social media, both on Twitter and Facebook. In fact, Wesley and I were just talking about one, and somebody said that Wesley needs to boost his seat a little bit. Well, I'm 6'6". You're about, what, 5'10"?
Hey, but this week, yeah, it's not funny. This
Yes, it
weekend,
is.
I was doing the Bob stance though. Tom Ryan's got the video. He might play it.
You were actually
I was
squatting?
practicing the Bob Dylan stance. Yes.
You picking on me?
No. You're picking on me, so it's
Absolutely.
a rebuttal is what it is. It's a comeback. Yeah.
Matt Kenseth actually tried to do that a time or two. Hey, by the way, I want to talk about this morning because I think Brandon Paul, who we just had on the Hyperco hotline, I think brought up a good point on social media last week. He said, I hate, and of course Brandon goes negative, right? But I hate the period of time of the year, the season of the year in between, the NHL and the NBA and the time football starts. So what I want to know, and Zach Evans is going to do a little Twitter poll right now on our PFC Breaks Twitter poll. And what we're going to do is, what is your favorite season of racing? Okay. Is it spring, summer, fall, or winter? Because obviously we're right now smack dab in the middle of summer. I say smack dab, we're in the middle. Really, not. It just started like a couple days ago with Summer Thunder TV presented by PFC. We thank them for their support of that summer series. But I want to know what your favorite racing season is. What is your favorite racing season? You're going to be the first vote.
I like the fall because in the fall, big money races happen. and that's when you see a lot of cool events, a lot of big shows, and it's not so hot outside.
So
I like the fall.
You don't like to sweat in the summer, is what you're saying?
I can deal with it, but I'd rather like sunny and 75.
Did you sweat in West Virginia this past weekend?
No, it was actually quite comfortable.
Really?
It really was.
Very nice.
It was quite comfortable.
That's a pretty cool Fast Track Racing Series commercial that Tommy cut, isn't it?
It was, definitely.
Yeah. Couple of good races coming up.
A great event. We had a blast there. The Garnes family welcomed us with the Ultimate Mid-Ohio Valley Series, and of course, Fast Track will be there in 2 weeks for the 9th annual UBV Memorial. Keith Boland was there. They were doing promotions for that, and then we got the Great American Crate Race for $7,000 to win at Tyler County, and they're all looking forward to it. And they loved having Speed 51 there. The crowd was just electric. We had a great time.
You can see the highlights and the recap to that Ultimate Mid-Ohio Valley race from Friday night already up on Speed 51 as a premium member. Lots of great racing this past weekend, including up in New England, where I'm from. I love going to New England for several different reasons, especially to see my friend Eddie McDonald. Eddie McDonald, first-time caller on the Hyperco hotline. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I'm not bad at all. How was the night for you after the big victory up there?
It was good. It was good. It was definitely we had some fun, and it was definitely good to get another win up there.
So what was the night like? I mean, do you still stay? Like back in the day, I remember we would all used to party in the campgrounds at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but it was a Sunday race. Did you stay in the campgrounds, or did you make your way home?
No, we went with the crew. We went back to that the Macris steak place down the street and had a couple drinks and some dinner, and so it was good to get out of there and relax a little bit.
You're making me jealous.
He found
You're making me
the
jealous.
New England Lobster.
He did. Macris is a great place, just down the road from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and that's where a lot of the racing folk actually goes for seafood, steak, you name it.
Yes.
Eddie McDonald, you're making me homesick, dude.
Soon enough, right?
Yeah, sometime I got to get back up there for sure. And we are watching some of the highlights that you will see between you and Mike Hopkins in the number 15 last lap right here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Describe this finish heading into turn number 3 for me.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He really had a great car, and he was coming on strong, and I was doing everything I could just to try and hang on to the lead. We lost that race last year on the last lap, so I didn't want to let that happen again. So we had some hard racing and tried to take his line away and pinch him down as much as I could to hold on to it and come across the line first. And but he drove a good race, and you know, we were bouncing off each other coming to the finish line. So it was definitely a close one.
So he doesn't have a mark coming off of turn number 4, okay? And then he has a mark on the side of his car after you cross the start-finish line. You talked about maybe coming down on him a little bit. Was that a planned move there at that time, and why'd you make it?
No, just, didn't really plan on it. I was trying to just take his line away a little bit, and I think both of us were thinking the same thing, and, we're going to do whatever we can to try and get that win. And so we kind of just, I think at the same time, we both kind of ran into each other, just a little bit. It wasn't too bad, but he drove a heck of a race. I was really impressed with him on the first run. He came on strong right before the break, and I was a little worried about him doing the same thing. And sure enough, I think it was 3 to go, he really put the pressure on and just really had to get up on the wheel and drive it in the corner as deep as I could. And luckily, Rolly and my guys on the break made a couple changes that I wasn't quite sure if they were going to work, but I was able to really just hold it all the way to the center of the corner, and it stuck, and we were able to get by him or keep ahead of him. So it was awesome.
Of course, it was National Donut Day a couple of weeks ago, but definitely last night you put a rubber donut on the right side of his car, definitely coming to the checkered flag. Eddie, 11-time winner at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Is there a special win out of those 11 that stand out?
I don't know. Every one of them just been so different, and probably my first one was definitely being there so many times and just wanting to win there. The first one was definitely special. It was it was almost the same type of finish, door to door with Trevor Bain in the K&N series. So we were bouncing off each other, going through 3 and 4, and just we were able to just beat him by a little bit. And so that one was definitely a good one, to finally just get a win there. But they've all been so much fun and just as exciting as the first one.
Hey, you just pulled off the Mile to the Mile. You went from last weekend at the Milwaukee Mile with the ARCA Midwest Tour race and the, coming back sort of the Milwaukee Mile. Racing had been gone from there for a couple of years, and obviously you went to your home track, your home big track, the Magic Mile this past weekend. What was that race like at Milwaukee for you heading over there? I know we couldn't have you on the show last week because you were in the air, but what was that experience like at the Milwaukee Mile after having spent several years at the Magic Mile of New Hampshire?
Yeah, the Milwaukee Mile was just a cool place, all the history there. And, just to be able to get out there and get on that track, it was a lot of fun. And, I wish we were a little bit, quicker. We got to lead some laps and just kind of faded a little bit towards the end. But, I was really hoping we could, take some of what we've learned at New Hampshire and been quick there. But those guys out there really, really are strong and had some fast cars. But it was definitely a lot of fun, and it was great to have my father out there with me on Father's Day. He ran out there he was on a crew out there, I think in the 70s. So it was pretty neat for him to go back there, and it was just a good experience all the way around.
And, of course, highlights of this event as you're watching Ty Majeski and all the other drivers battle there. Matt Craig in the 54 car can be on the Speed 51 network. As a subscriber, you can see the race from a great show. Zach was there last Sunday at Milwaukee Mile. What a great event that was. And then, of course, they come to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Eddie, do you enjoy going to events like Milwaukee Mile, New Hampshire, Bristol, Nashville? And do you think more NASCAR tracks, maybe Michigan, maybe Chicagoland, so look into doing more grassroots super late model events like they've been doing at where you raced at New Hampshire yesterday?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's great that that these guys put on these shows and give everyone an opportunity to race on those big tracks. It's so much fun to be able to get out on those tracks, and it's places that in the past you'd never have the opportunity to run a super late model on them. So it's it's great what they've been doing, and it's so much fun, and I like the bigger tracks, and so it'd be nice if they'd get some more out there, and we could try to hit those. So
I got a very important question here for you. Mark Keeler always loves when I set that up because it's not an important question. But the question is here for you, Eddie Mack. You go from the land of cheese curds to the land of lobster. Are you a self-respecting New Englander and like lobster better than cheese curds?
Yeah, definitely. But the cheese curds were pretty good out there. We had to try those, but definitely stick with the lobster first.
So how would you explain your first bite of a cheese curd to anybody that hasn't had one?
I don't know. They are totally different, but just a little fried piece of cheese, and it was definitely good. I guess I had the fried one, so I don't know what the regular one is like, but it was definitely good. Yeah,
you need to have just the regular curd, not fried, because honestly, Eddie, if you get the fresh ones, they'll squeak when you chew them. That's weird.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, this show's taking a turn.
The Morning Bullring has now become a cheese cooking show.
Hey, we talked about having track bites. Hey, what's your favorite track food up in New England, Eddie?
Gee, I really don't have one. I don't know.
You're racing. You're trying to win, right? You're not thinking
That's
about
right.
cheese curds and lobster.
Oh, they have lobster rolls at Oxford.
That was post-race dinner last night.
Yeah. What? Lobster rolls?
Yeah, for Eddie
Oh,
McDonald.
there you go. There you go. Hey, Eddie, one other thing, and this is a serious question. And actually Jim Trado and I were talking about this at Gateway this past weekend. We were actually talking about you and what you're doing now and not running the K&N East Circuit, really. Why is that? Eddie, you got me?
Yeah, you're still there. I lost you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was asking you, Jim Trado and I were talking about you, and you're not running the K&N East Circuit, and it's a shame, that we're not seeing you, because all we see in the K&N East Circuit are all young kids, and it's good to have veterans and young kids alike, tell the folks why you're not running that K&N East Circuit right now.
Yeah, we had a great time running the K&N series. I did it for a long time, and there's just so much that goes into running that series, and just from the amount of time and effort that goes into it to the money and traveling and everything to try and get crew members to be able to go with you every weekend. We were still doing it on a volunteer basis, our whole team. And, it's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. And, just the amount of money it takes to run that series. So we were, we were kind of hanging on just down to 5 to 7 races for the last couple of years. And then everybody from, Rob Grimm, the car owner, to Rowley and myself, we decided that it was time to, kind of lay off that a little bit and do some super late model racing, some ACT racing. We've been having a great time doing that. You definitely miss, doing some of the K&N races and some of the tracks that you get to go to. But, it's definitely been a little different. Not, those K&N cars, it was a lot of work and a lot of effort went into it. And the competition just kept getting tougher and tougher.
Hey, Neil Becker on social media chiming in, listening to the Morning Bullring this morning, saying, come back to Wisconsin anytime, Eddie McDonald. So they already want you back up there eating cheese curds. They want to make you a cheesehead for sure. But what do you have in store for the remainder of your season? What's on that calendar?
The biggest one that we're focused on is the Oxford 250. And we plan on we keep running as many races at Oxford as we can to try and gear up for that. And then after that, we're going to go to that. Is it Jukasa? Is that how you say that?
I believe so. I always say it wrong. I think I say Jukasa. I can't remember. If Kendra Adams was here, she would straighten me out. But that's a big $75,000 to win pro late model race. That's incredible, Eddie.
Yeah, that's great what they're doing out there, and it's exciting, and it's really it's really awesome to have big races like that, and especially back to back with the 250, and so that's going to be a lot of fun, and then we plan on hitting a couple more races out in Wisconsin, out in that area. So
what are you looking at there, Eddie?
I believe it's that lacrosse, which is
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, Oktoberfest. And there's one or two other ones that we're going back and forth on, so we're just going to finalize a few things for that. But
what makes you want to go to Oktoberfest?
I don't know. I heard it's a great race to go to, and the guys from Pathfinder out there, Joe Wood and those guys, they have a great time going to that race, and we're going to team up with them again like we did for Milwaukee, and go out there and see what that's like, and it's a lot of fun racing out there also. So it's a totally different atmosphere, and it's great to have the experience to go out there and try some of those races.
Hey, Eddie, Dan Fredrickson, veteran racer. I remember when both you and Dan Fredrickson were young dudes coming up through the ranks, but former ARCA Midwest Tour champion. He says, Eddie McDonald should run the Slinger Nationals because all the cool kids are doing it. How about it, Eddie?
Yeah, we actually went there to Slinger after the Milwaukee race. we got done and loaded up there and grabbed dinner, and then caught the super late model race that night. So it was we had to check that place out, and that's definitely a unique track. So I believe that car's already has a driver for that weekend. So we're going to miss out on that one, but maybe go there and check it out and maybe sign up for next year.
Well, Eddie, we appreciate you coming on the Hyperco hotline. Always good talking to you. I don't get a chance to talk to you too much, but we love the fact that you're still going strong, still winning races, and a big congratulations on that win yesterday at the Magic Mile.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having me on, and thanks for all that you guys do. Keeps everyone informed, ones that can't make it to the track, and you guys do a great job.
Thank you. Eddie McDonald on the Hyperco hotline. Big winner at the New England Short Track Showdown yesterday at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Have you ever been to the Magic Mile, Wesley?
I went there one time.
Cool. Cool place.
Yes, for a modified event.
And I know Mark Keeler loves it, too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's New England. What's not to love?
That's what I was talking about,
Hey,
lobster.
We got an update here on Robert Ballou. This posted on his Twitter account after that wreck, that sprint car wreck that we saw at Kokomo.
Wow.
So,
Compound fracture.
yeah. But out of
So it
surgery,
says,
so
Robert is out of surgery and in recovery after a compound fracture in his radius and ulna. We would like to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and kind words.
Yeah, we'll definitely say some prayers for the madman Robert Ballou. Rough wreck yesterday, coming to the finish line in a sprint car race in Kokomo, Indiana. Slower car hit the wall. He hit that and then flipped past the start-finish line. And you can see he's recovering from some injuries. So we'll definitely wish him a speedy recovery.
He did win, though.
Absolutely. Still got the checkered flag. Another victory for the madman. And we're going to be talking to a couple of other victors coming up. But first, we're going to have the update on the protest from the Show Me the Money series on that number 81 Anthony Campy Racing machine for Colby Howard. Stan Narrison from Montgomery Motor Speedway will be on the Hyperco hotline when we return to the Morning Bullring. Time to get this cranked up on Short Track America.
Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half-mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
Top of the hour here on the Morning Bullring, presented by Hyperco. DJ Jazzy Mark Keeler has got the funky music cranking this morning here. I'm Bob Dillner, Wesley Outland alongside, and we
I'm
forgot.
just bobbing my head.
We
dude.
forgot.
I'm loving this music that Mark's got.
We forgot to ask Eddie McDonald what his favorite racing season is.
I don't know if we could text him that question.
We can text him. We go to the poll, but we got to find out from Eddie McDonald. I'll have him vote. We won't know, though, because we won't know his deal. Are you a hoodlum now? Look at you. Look at that back there.
All he's got to do is do the sprinkler and he's set, man.
he wants to zip his sweater up, but he broke the zipper on it.
He broke the zipper. Now, that's a Tom Ryan move right there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mark Keeler,
yes,
before we get to the news, what's your favorite racing season?
Winter.
Winter?
Yes.
Really?
Why do you like winter for?
Snowball Derby, Chili Bowl Nationals, snowmobile racing in Wisconsin, speed weeks.
Okay, I have to dispute
It
with you, though.
starts with the snowball derby and it ends with speed weeks. To me, there's nothing better.
But I have to dispute that.
It's an opinion, though. You can't
You're
dispute
correct.
it.
No, I know where you're going.
Wait a
You're
minute.
correct.
Because the Snowball Derby is the first weekend in December.
Right, the wintertime.
And wintertime is not till December 3rd, 21st.
Yes.
It's cold enough, and it's called the Snowball Derby. It's wintertime. If it's after Thanksgiving, it's wintertime.
I tried.
After Thanksgiving,
I'm
it's
sorry.
winter.
Winter solstice is December 21st, and therefore the Snowball Derby's in the fall. And the race is in Florida.
Technically, you're correct, but I'll go with Mark there. It's still
Really?
a fall. Yeah, it's not. It's the winter. That kind of starts the winter. You get out of November, you get past Thanksgiving, it's winter time, all right, baby?
Yeah, people from the Northeast, when it's cold, it's winter. When it's hot, it's summer.
Listen to
You
his
know what,
southern.
Tom, you were my favorite E&G. Now you're going to take his side on
I
this
still
whole
am.
deal?
I still am.
Right?
But sorry, Wesley, you're from the South, bro.
Nobody knows what the heck ENG is. They're like, what's an ENG?
Electronic
He
news
is my
gathering.
favorite video guy that
I
I
looked
roam
it
around
up.
the pits with. There you go. That's
Oh,
for people
my
with
gosh.
layman's term.
Well, I don't know if you were his favorite reporter anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're laying down the smack here.
Wow.
Time to get to the news and the Bullet Blaze Dillner.
Brian Burkacre doubled up his wins at Flat Rock Speedway this weekend, winning in the ARCA CRA Super Series and the ARCA Gold Cup Outlaw event.
Burgacre getting it done. How about that? 2 in one night. Flat Rock quarter mile. By the way, I'm a former winner in figure eights at Flat Rock. Thank you very much. But how about Bergie getting it done? That was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
And at Berlin, hey, how about this? At Berlin, he wrecked his car in qualifying. He had to go and fix the car, okay? And he came back and he finished in third.
I love your southern accent because he just said Berlin.
He finished
and I'm like,
fifth. He finished
it was
fifth.
so
My
different than
bad.
what we would
Finished
say.
fifth.
It's Berlin, not Berlin.
Berlin Raceway
Berlin.
in Marne, Michigan.
And how do you say that track up in upstate New York?
Oswego.
Hey, he did it. He reverted.
That's
nailed it.
That's an O-Z-W.
Oswego.
No, Oswego. Anyway, what else is going on?
Josh Berry became the first two-time winner on the Cars Tour late model stock this weekend with a win at Dominion Speedway in Virginia.
How about late model stock cars at Dominion? Neat little racetrack. Actually, 5 minutes from my mother-in-law's house. Come on up here. Come on, Zach.
Zach's being shy.
Why should I talk about late model stock cars? What do you think about old Josh Berry getting it done? First multi-time winner in the late model stock car tour for Cars Tour.
That's pretty exciting. Like you say, six different drivers have won in 7 races. They're first repeat winner, and there's a couple of guys that run full time on that series that could totally win and haven't done it yet. But more importantly, I think you've got a really tight points battle shaping up between Barry and McCarty. They were 1 point apart going in. Waiting to see the official tally, but it should still be pretty close. McCarty was second.
Smart kid, this guy. That's why we hire him. Absolutely. Zach Evans in the house.
And Josh Berry winning for the Cars Tour. And Junior Motorsports announced last Wednesday that they got a new Truck Series team they're working on for the Truck Series.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
There you go. But it's not short track racing. So
I was
we're not
just going to
gonna
say
talk
that
about
same thing. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, by the way, Zach Evans will be back on the set next week with you and he hosting.
Awesome.
And honestly, he's gonna keep you in line.
Okay.
Hey, good luck.
What else is going on there, Blaze?
Ty Gibbs picked up his first ARCA Menard Series win in his young career with a last lap battle with Sam Mayer.
The majestic one, Ty Majeski. The dude needs a full-time ride in ARCA. That's all I have to say. He'd be a threat for the title with Michael Self and Christian Eckes, Brett Holmes, and Travis Braden. I'd love to see him in an ARCA car more often.
You were talking about Ty Majeski, but he was talking about Ty Gibbs. And Ty
talking-
Gibbs won the race at
I thought you said Ty
Worldwide
Majeski.
Technology.
Ty Gibbs.
Oh, you said
Ty
Gibbs. Well, he's
Gibbs.
good, too.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He's got Majeski news in there, though.
Mark, I stumped
okay.
Bob.
Okay, well, I already gave away your Majeski news. Ty Majeski wins at Worldwide Tech. No, at a Live for 5 series there in Wisconsin. I was screwing it all up today.
Well, you already hit on that, and then also at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a part of the New England Short Track Showdown. Like we had him on earlier, a pair of photo finishes. Eddie McDonald picked up a win, and so did Ronnie Williams to they were on the right side of those finish lines.
And we
victories.
just talked to Eddie McDonald
Eddie
on the
McDonald.
Hyperco hotline. We'll talk to Ty Gibbs, who won at Gateway. And yes, I still say Gateway many times because, the last
Worldwide
part of that-
Technology Raceway.
You say that a couple times, and then you just go Gateway, bottom line. But Ty Gibbs picking up his first ARCA Menard Series victory at Gateway on Saturday night, and then Ty Majeski winning up there. Both of those drivers will be on the Hyperco hotline coming up. Ty Majeski with the big win at Dells Raceway Park in the Alive for 5 Series in the Trickle 99. But right now, let's get to the Hyperco hotline here on the Morning Bullring and head to Alabama. And that's where the promoter for Montgomery Motor Speedway is standing by. A big good morning to you, Stan Narrison.
Good morning to you. How's everybody doing? Just so you know, the Snowball Derby's in the winter.
Oh, there you go. See, Wesley? Pick on him, Stan. Pick on him.
And
Just like y'all want to
I'll tell you
protest
one-
against the whole Ryan Priest race at Sonoma in the K&N West Series, I'm protesting because winter doesn't start till December 21st. Sorry.
Well, let me tell you,
Is it-
I'll just say one thing. They said that summer just started, last Friday?
Not in
I tell you,
Alabama.
For the last 3 months, it's been summer here in Lower Alabama. So
That's just global warming.
we've been sweating in L.A. But either way, there's just some great wintertime racing that goes on. And Wesley, I'll give you those couple of days if you want it, but it's still a wintertime.
Wesley just, talked about the global warming. He must be with CNN. Anyway.
Oh, wow!
Ouch.
Hey,
Fox News. Sorry, Fox News.
Hey, let me ask you this. I was very disappointed, by the way, in Mark Keeler and Cody Geyer. We have a new segment, Stan, called Track Bites. Okay, and you guys don't take credit card apparently, and Mark never carries cash on him. He's like Mr. Poor Man, and Cody Geyer, doesn't have a credit card, and should have cash, but didn't want to fork up whatever it was for whatever your specialty is at the concession stand. But next time that they go to Montgomery Motor Speedway and we do Track Bites, okay, what specialty at Montgomery Motor Speedway should they try?
Well, they've got a new chicken wrap. It's a kind of grilled chicken in a tortilla with shredded lettuce and some ranch dressing. Pretty good. Always something just a little bit different.
I like the watermelon that you bring to the driver's meeting myself, Stan. That's a favorite of mine.
Well, let me tell you, that watermelon was tasty this weekend. We made sure everybody had a piece of watermelon, and we just really, it was warm enough that something cool and cold really hit the spot.
Maybe we should do the watermelon. And here's what I propose, Stan. You bring an extra one that after Mark or somebody tastes it, and we do the track bites with it, okay, then he takes a sledgehammer out and just crushes one right there in the pits.
I love that.
You think I could lift a sledgehammer?
Like that comedian guy.
Throw it off the tower. I like the way he's thinking.
Yeah, throw it off the tower. Love it. Yeah, let the kids go after the pieces of watermelon. What's up, Tom?
That's right.
Wow.
Like a candy drop. I like that. Let's just do
Just
a watermelon.
don't
We're
drop
not
it on somebody's
responsible
head.
for any injuries is the only thing, right?
Yeah.
After this weekend, it can be sponsored by Ross Chastain because he did the watermelon drop too.
That's right.
There you go.
I have a quick food review from last year. I was at Montgomery. I had a cheeseburger on Casey LaJoy's recommendation, and it was way above average. Really caught me by surprise. It was a very good cheeseburger. Thank you, Montgomery Motor Speedway.
See, Stan?
Well, now
There
that
you
we've
go.
got the eating out of the way, let's get to the business.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened, of course.
Y'all getting me hungry.
Well, last week at Montgomery Motor Speedway, the Show Me the Money Series Pro Late Model event, and Colby Howard was the winner, and that Anthony Campy Racing number 81. After the event, Bubba Pollard protested the ignition box on that race car. Stan, you guys also did a check as well of the dash. What is the outcome of that protest breaking live here on the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco?
Well, the outcome was we tested the digital dash. Was a great experience, to be honest with you. We found out a lot of things about them, some of the capabilities of that particular piece, but everything checked out. All the ports, all the things that were supposed to be in there were correct, and although there's other functions that the digital dash could do, those functions weren't open on the dash, and everything was fine there. So that was the first part of it. And the track actually had pulled the dash. It's something that we wanted to do, since last year, just for our own information, just get a little more knowledge on that type of product. And then, we pulled the FAST, the fast boxes, crane boxes, out of the top two cars with the protest. When we do a protest, you kind of have to show your stuff too. You have to be right if you're challenging the guy in front of you also. So we sent both of the boxes off along with the distributors, and everything checked out. It was, they spun up the distributors, as they call it, and tested the boxes, tested the range on the RPMs, went through all the parameters on the boxes, and both boxes tested almost identical.
And honestly, this is exactly what Bubba Pollard wanted to know. By filing this protest, he took some heat on social media. But, Stan, you and me have talked about this. You weren't mad at Bubba Pollard at all. This is just part of the game and part of what you can do to keep people fair and square and just to make sure.
Well, I think it was one of the most professionally handled situations in racing. A lot of times when these things come down, people don't see eye to eye on it. Both teams talked as the whole thing was happening. It wasn't a surprise to anybody once we got to the tech area. Anthony Campy and Bubba Pollard had a good conversation. They both agreed that it's what needs to be done in order to progress short track racing, and just to try to close some of these doors that are out there that have the suspicion of tech men and tracks and even other competitors. So, it was really a good thing. It was something that, I think needed to happen. It's educated us and our tech people, and, it'll just make our program here and program across the Southeast and with pro late model racing across the country, it'll just make it stronger.
And Stan, the one thing that I thought was interesting in our conversations during the week is the fact that Ronnie Sanders, legendary driver, now car owner and wrench in his own right, he actually came to you because he wanted to make sure his was okay too. Would you mind sharing that story? Because I think that's what this whole thing sets up, is a lot of good things to come.
Well, a lot of it came from the tone of the car, and there's a lot of things that go into it besides that ignition box. But, he wants to be sure, these guys, they all want to be sure they're right. I mean, they want to, if they're going to get beat, they want to get beat on the track. You know what I mean? It doesn't want to be in a tech situation. So, he had made the comment, and others have, that, maybe we should be swapping out some boxes. And so, we've purchased some of the ignition boxes ourselves so we can facilitate that. They can show up, we can pull the box, we can see if the tone changes from, an older box or a newer box. But, he really wanted to be sure that everything he had was operating properly. And I've had a couple other drivers and had the same thing. They've been curious about this. There was, like you said, a little bit of negative push towards Bubba, kind of he didn't win, so now you're, and that's just not true. That's not the way it went down. It's not what he was looking for. He just wanted to be sure that, we're all playing in the same box with the same toys.
Looking at highlights of the event a couple of weeks ago that was live on the Speed 51 network. Of course, it is now available as a subscriber. You can see replays, highlights of the event at Montgomery Motor Speedway. Stan, what do you think of digital boxes?
I still don't like them. Hey, I'm just one guy. I just don't. I think that they're neat, and look, I've heard a lot of the arguments, even to the point of you can buy some of these dashes and, some of them are pretty expensive, and I think they're, at a certain point, if we're going to allow them, we're going to need to, or if we're going to continue to allow them, we're going to need to put some parameters on them. decide either spec them out. Now, one nice thing we did figure out is it's not too hard to test those things. It's a plug-in situation into a laptop with a program, and you kind of lays out exactly what's in it. My issue is that we worry about costs for our racers all the time, and things come up here and there, and if you have a dashboard that's $2,500 to $5,000, I don't know that that's a good economic decision. And I don't know that we need to constantly put things in front of tech men across the country that brings more and more technology into local racing. So, we're going to take a really hard look at it, in the next couple of months, and all the promoters in the Southeast and all the folks that write the rules down here. I've been talking to Ricky Brooks, and obviously Nicholas Rogers was involved in all of this. We're going to, and also, we're going to sit down and we'll have some discussions with the Short Track Council, and we're going to kick it around. I think everybody is talking about this right now, which is good. Nobody's real mad and upset, which is also nice. The conversation stays sane as we talk through these things, but I'm not a real big fan of them.
Got an event coming up for the Southern Super Series on July 6th at your track, Montgomery Motor Speedway. Talk about that event. And, of course, I also wanted to ask you that you have been at Five Flags. You've been at Montgomery. Of course, that's your sandbox. You've been at Bristol for the Tri-Sanction Short Track U.S. Nationals. What's your thoughts of series, track sanction, and bodies working together this year, and just how racing's been so far in the first half of 2018, if we can get away from the rainouts?
Yeah, the weather's been tough. I mean, we even had, our event this last weekend with the Modifieds of Mayhem. We had, as soon as we started racing, we had to go into hurry-up mode just to be sure we got everything in. So that in itself has been tough, but I really like the fact, I think that more and more these tracks and tours need to work together. The Show Me the Money race that we did, a week ago was actually a double header with Five Flags. It's the first time we've done that in quite a while. Kind of gets back to that old school racing where, guys used to race at Birmingham and Montgomery and Five Flags through a weekend. And so a lot of the guys really enjoyed that. And I think anytime that the tours and the tracks can work together, it'll only make it stronger. I thought that event in Bristol was really neat, having all the different tours there and everybody working together. Tim and I worked really closely along with Ben Sumner over at Chris Motorsports Park. We all try to stay off of each other as far as dates go and rescheduling and those type of things. So I think the more of that you have, the better off it'll be for the racer. They won't have to make decisions of, do I want to go to Montgomery to stay in the points? Do I need to go, to Five Flags because they're racing the same night kind of deal? So, we've got to find a way to work together and continue this process. But, overall, if Mother Nature's been tough this year for a lot of folks, but, the racing that has been out there, man, it's been pretty darn good.
Hey, Stan, before we let you go, we have a really serious question for you right now. And you brought it up first, honestly, here with Wesley. What's your favorite racing season? Spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Any time I can have race cars on the track.
That's a politically correct
that doesn't
answer.
count, Stan. You can't do that.
He's working for CNN now.
Let me tell you, I did, well, it's funny because, there's some events. It's like this Rumble by the River here. I love it. It's in the middle of summer. A lot of the guys complain about the heat, but 125 laps, I just think it's pretty neat. I like wintertime racing too, no, I guess fall racing. I like fall racing. How's that?
There you go. Get it right. Remember, Wesley was wrong. The Snowball Derby.
It's in the fall.
No. The Turkey Bowl is in the fall. It immediately changes to winter at that
Well, you know
point.
what? They change, you talk about the media, whatever. They change the holidays. They change Easter. So we'll just go ahead and change. For
Don't
all
forget
the people.
about global warming.
I was going to say, yeah, global warming. We're just gonna go ahead and change.
The summer is hot in Alabama. That's all I have to say.
We'll just change winter to December 1st.
Our winter in Alabama lasts about 17 minutes. So I guess it gets cold for about a day, and then it's back on to hot. So we love it down here.
Hey, Stan, sometime we're going to have you come up here and co-host the Bullring with Wesley Outland.
Oh, that would be awesome.
What do you think?
It'd be like old times, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? Man, I met Stan at PRI.
We don't have time for stories here.
Okay, getting to know you, Stan Narrison. I got to hang out with him at PRI, Bob, and it turned into like 2 hours later just standing there at PRI talking.
Hey, by the way, I do have to say, a Jim O'Shields.
Yeah, Jim O'Shields.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, Stan taught me how to be a good official when he worked together with him at USCS. Learned a lot from him before he took me over to Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Before he took over Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So, Stan, we appreciate you for being on the Hyperco hotline, and thanks for clarifying everything on that protest from 1 week ago with the Show Me the Money race.
Thank you, guys, and tell Jim he's the toughest official in America.
He is.
He is.
Somebody put that man to work.
There we go. Stan Harrison from Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Day.
Thank you, Stan.
See you, dude.
July 6th, Rumble by the River, Southern Super Series is going to be rolling into town. Super late models for the first time this year at Montgomery Motor Speedway. By the way, before we get to our next caller on the Hyperco hotline, we're going to try to squeeze him in here a little bit later, a little bit right now, because earlier he was very busy working already today. Kelly Carlton from the Ultimate Southeast Series in the dirt late model realm. By the way, Jim Swan says he is against the digital dash because of the cost. The promoters have worked hard to keep the cost of the super late model racing down across America, and this is a cost that doesn't make sense and is not needed in short track racing. So, Jim, we appreciate the comment there for sure. Of course, the big ultimate super late model race coming up at Lakeview Motor Speedway, just down the road from Myrtle Beach. And I'm imagining that Kelly Carlton is going to be a hard-working man, the race director, the series director for the ultimate super late models. He's going to be a hard-working man on Saturday all day. Kelly Carlton on the Hyperco hotline. Are you going to allow yourself to go over to the beach? 45 minutes down the road is Myrtle Beach on Sunday after the race.
No, man. We got way too much going on to get to the beach yet. So I'm sure we'll be ready to get home after that race.
I tell you what, Scott Tripp and his staff down there at Lakeview Motor Speedway have done so much to that racetrack to resurrect it from basically what was going to be a lost speedway. What are your thoughts on Lakeview Motor Speedway, and of course the supers there from Ultimate there on this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm really excited about going there. I mean, I went there probably, telling my age a little bit, probably 30 years ago. I visited there for a race, and it was just kind of a local show. So I'm really excited that I've seen a lot of the improvements. I haven't been there since they changed everything. But I've heard great things about it. The racetrack surface, I keep hearing, is really phenomenal. So,
we lost Kelly Carlton just a little bit here on the morning Bullring. We're going to try to get him back in just a minute. Of course, big race this weekend at Lakeview Motor Speedway. $5,022 to win. That's this Saturday. I apologize. $4,000 to win. I was reading what was in front of me. I'm like Anchorman, but the Ultimate Super Late Models in town at Lakeview Motor Speedway, Lakeview, South Carolina. That's just over the border from North Carolina to South Carolina. What are you laughing about, Wesley? I was reading the graphic there, but we're going to get Kelly Carlton back on the line here to just talk about this event a little bit more. So much going on at Lakeview Motor Speedway this year. We had the Dirt Cup Challenge for the Dirt Modifieds there about a month ago. This race, what's special about this race, it will be live streamed on Speed 51. Tommy Tedder will be leading the announcing squad there at Lakeview Motor Speedway this Saturday, but there will be an enhanced broadcast as part of Speed 51 Short Track America on MAV TV later on this year.
And for the first time in 18 years, super late models back at formerly known as Carolina Speedway, now the Lakeview Motor Speedway, and it's just phenomenal. I believe Kelly Carlton is back with us, somebody that I've known for almost probably 15 years or more. Kelly, how excited are you to have the Ultimate brand, what it's been for 9 years, now being showcased on the MAV TV Motorsports Network at Lakeview this Saturday night?
It means a lot to us. You know, the guys have worked really hard, and it's really about as much anything showcasing the guys that race with us, giving them a little chance to. They might not be able to get to some of the Lucas races or some of the other races that are on TV. So this is an opportunity for friends and family to be able to see them, you know, all around the country, and that's pretty exciting, you know. And of course, it brings some additional recognition to our sponsors, and you know, we always want to do that. So, you know, it's a big deal for us, and we're excited about having MAV TV there. And you know, I know it's going to be a good deal. Lakeview's done a really good job with preparing for it, and they've really promoted it well as well. So I think there'll be a big crowd there. I know, you know, Super Late Models haven't been there in probably 25 years when it was open previously. So, you know, it should be a big deal for everybody in the area.
Kelly, from what I hear from Scott Tripp and talking to him a bunch, he's expecting not only a great crowd, but a good field of race cars as well, with what is or what is not going on in the realm of super late model racing around the area. You're expecting a good car count there as well.
Yeah, we expect a good crowd of guys. You know, it's of course it's the Southeast, so you just never know. Weather affects everybody's mood too. So, but yeah, I think we'll have a really good crowd of cars. You know, of course our regular guys are going to be there, and then some of those regional guys that are over that in that direction will certainly be there as well. So I think it'll be a good crowd. You know, Zach Mitchell is leading our points. I know he's excited about getting over there. He did some videos. We were talking about the other day. He's watched some videos from over there, and he kind of equated it to a couple of different places he'd been. So I know he was excited about getting over there because it's kind of one of those places that suits his style pretty well.
And Zach had a great run, honestly, at Virginia Motor Speedway in the USA 100 a couple of weeks ago. That Saturday up there, man, you know, had to go to a different race car, had to start at the rear, come back up through the field. So Zach was really strong at Virginia Motor Speedway. Kelly, always fun talking to you, and I know you got a lot more racing coming up, even after Lakeview. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to before we let you go from the Hyperco Hotline?
Well, you know, we have a ton of races coming up. You know, we got to go back to Dixie Speedway. We're at Fayetteville again, and you know, our first Fayetteville race rained out, and that's such a great crowd and area over there. And I know we're going to share some of those same folks at Lakeview, but we like getting over to that eastern part of South Carolina, North Carolina. But we have a ton of races. If everybody will go to ultimatesupers.com, check out our schedule there. We'd love to have everybody there and enjoy the fun with us.
Kelly, how does it make you feel knowing that so many people in the world of dirt track racing consider the Ultimate Super Late Model Series brand the premier super late model program in the region, and now even nationally compared to World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil?
Well, it really is a good feeling, you know, and you know, that's due in part, you know, to a good combination of great racetracks and great promoters, and our staff does a great job with everything that we do, and they work hard to make sure our races go well. And then, of course, our drivers, you know, are a tremendous part of everything we do. We couldn't race without them, obviously. And then, you know, the fan base. We have a fantastic fan base in the Southeast, and you know, it's worrisome sometimes. We worry about you know, are we losing fans, or, you know, how we're getting new fans in. But, man, just everywhere we've gone this year, we've seen fantastic crowds, and that's really encouraging. So we're excited, happy about that fan base, and it really is a great thing.
Kelly, before we let you go, we're trying to settle something here on the Morning Bullring, and Wesley, you know how Wesley is sometimes, Kelly.
He's going to take your
I
side
just don't
anyway.
agree with him that often, honestly. So my question to you is, we're doing a Twitter poll, and that is, what is your favorite racing season? Spring, summer, fall, or winter? I want to know the answer to that question, and whether you consider the month of December fall or winter.
Well, I am a fall guy. I like the fall because of the weather, and not just with racing. You can go racing one day and then be at a football game the next.
I agree.
So I like the fall. December to me is definitely a winter month.
Yes.
So but I'll be at Gateway either way, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Kelly, you backed me up, brother. Appreciate it. I'm going to have maybe a beer for you after the race or something on Saturday night.
Sounds good.
All right. Kelly Carlton on the Hyperco Hotline.
Hi, Kelly.
Kelly will see him in the ultimate brand of super late model racing this Saturday, Lakeview Motor Speedway. Big $4,000 to win event there. That's going to be a blast at Lakeview Motor Speedway. And Kelly, Mark, he agreed with us. He agreed with us. We're happy. We're happy.
I knew it was going to happen.
I will submit. Throw in the towel, white shirt, whatever.
Let me ask you this:
December
how
is winter.
How often is Wesley right? That's all you got to look at.
Listen, wait a second. Wait a minute now. Put me right here, okay? Let me look at you people here, okay?
You don't tell me what to put camera on. Come on, boy.
Go ahead.
If I'm wrong,
make 'em happy.
if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. I at least have enough respect
You're
for myself.
technically right.
Thank you.
Technically,
you hear that,
but not
you
for
hear
a
that.
racer. Not for a racer's standpoint.
It's not considered the winter, or it's the winter racing season.
I think it's time for a break. Don't
Dan
you?
Fredrickson on social media said if four-wheel drive is required to make the first 8 hours of the trip, it's winter.
Jim O'Shea
Hashtag
says,
snowball
Wesley,
derby.
I got your back, so y'all leave me alone before I sick the old guy on you.
And he's coming from Lakeville. I think it's Lakeview or Lakeville. I think it's Lakeville, Minnesota.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I've been up there partying with big old Dan Fredrickson. So
He's one of my favorite guests
He's
that
awesome.
we ever had.
Awesome dude.
He's a cool guy. Been racing a long time.
Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break here.
Wrong music.
Wrong music.
That is a $5 fine. $5 in the jar.
I just don't know what I've played and what I haven't. yet.
Coming
There
up
we go.
on the other side of the break, we will talk to ARCA Menard Series first-time winner, Ty Gibbs. An interesting last lap battle at Gateway on Saturday Night Live on MAV TV. We'll have Ty Gibbs on the Hyperco Hotline. That's next.
The ultimate surfers.
Time to get this cranked up on Short Track America.
Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half-mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
The Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco. Make sure you go to hypercoils.com. Go to the Contact Us portion if you're a racer. From there, racers can fill out their information, include what they race and where they race it. Whether you compete in late models, modifieds, dirt, or pavement, maybe even a Legends car, Hyperco has products for you. For each of the next couple of episodes on the Morning Bullring, the Hyperco brand will give away a set of 4 coil springs to one lucky winner. That winner could be any racer in the country as long as they fill out the contact form. With that said, racers can go the distance to increase their odds at winning with Hyperco. All they have to do is go on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and post a picture of themselves with their car and use the hashtag Hyperco, also the hashtag Morning Bullring, and tag Hyperco to let them know you're watching the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco. Dirt or pavement, doesn't matter, even off-road racing and street cars. Hypercoils.com, check it out.
And another shout out to a friend of mine, Mark Newton. He's got Hypercos on his mini stock.
Mini stock?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes, he's got on his mini stock.
You had to check there to make sure that it was correct.
Yeah, I did. Hypercoils.com is what he said.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're going to be having Ty Gibbs on the Hyperco hotline here just momentarily on the Morning Bullring. Big win for him. Lots going on in the world of short track racing. I'm looking forward to this Wednesday as well. Remember, Summer Thunder TV on the Speed 51 network. It's going to be very exciting. Open Wheel Wednesday. Tour Type Modifieds, the Tri-Track Series there at Seekonk Speedway in Massachusetts, plus the Boston Louis Memorial. And guess who's running the Boston Louis Memorial?
Bob Dillner.
Nope, I don't fit into a
midget
car like that.
I could.
Kenny Schrader, former NASCAR competitor,
Kenny's running.
is going to be there. Yeah,
he drove at Seekonk back in 1992, I believe it was, in a Vinny Anarumo Pro Stock. And I don't know that. I think that's the only time he's ever driven at Seekonk.
That's pretty impressive.
My mom's dad, my grandpa, God rest his soul, he used to race at Seekonk Speedway.
Really? So maybe your family and the Keelers actually know each other from way back when.
No, they would have warned me.
We got Ty Gibbs on the Hyperco hotline yet?
Yes, we do.
Oh, there we go. First time caller on the Hyperco hotline. Good morning to you, Ty Gibbs.
Good morning to you guys.
Hey, nice to have you, Bob Dillner, as well as Wesley Outland here talking about short track racing. But I think what's ironic is, Ty, at 16 years old, you can't compete at a lot of the big tracks on the ARCA schedule. 3 runner-up finishes prior to this weekend on the short tracks. You go to your first big track and get the job done, pulling to victory lane. How cool was that?
Yeah, it's really cool. These big tracks are a lot more fun, a lot more easier than these short tracks. The short tracks, they're running you out so fast. You got to be on your marks all the time. And these big tracks, you can focus down the straightaway because they're so long. But, we had a great car. My guys did a great job. And, I'm just so excited we won. We blew up in the practice, but, we showed our hard work and we put a new motor back in and we went out and won the race.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. I was talking to Mark McFarland. He said, oh, man, I think we're down a couple of cylinders. We have to change the engine. You change the engine. Just what a performance. But obviously we need to talk about that last lap as well. And let's set this up for everybody that wasn't able to watch it live on MAV TV right now. There was a caution with just a few laps to go. Sam Mayer out of Wisconsin chose not to pit. You and everybody else chose to pit. You put on 2 right side tires, put on 2 left side tires that were scuffs, and came through the field like gangbusters, honestly. And you caught Sam Mayer. You were able to ride by him a couple of laps. And then going into the turn 3 corner on the final lap, what do you think happened there as far as what happened on the racetrack?
I think he overdrove the corner, underdrew it, but he definitely did make the corner wall and was wide there. And I had the shot to go for the win. I took it, and we're kind of a short track here, so, we're going for wins. These things are so hard to come by. And I come out here to win, not to finish second. So we seal the deal.
When I looked at it, we looked at it on our replay. To me, and I know things are happening so quick for you, it might be hard to analyze this, but for us in our analysis, it almost looked like Sam Mayer saw a flash of the 18 Monster Energy car, honestly, catching him, and almost had a slight hesitation with the wheel, like he didn't know whether to pick the low groove or the high groove. He called it, I know Alex Hayden on our broadcast asked him, what did you think about that pass? And he said it wasn't a pass. What are your thoughts on those comments? Have you had a chance to talk or anything like that after that?
No, I haven't had a chance to talk at all. But he wrecked me at the beginning of the year at Salem, so it's kind of fair game. And I didn't wreck him this time. I passed him, and we're out here racing at kind of a short track, so this is stuff you have to do to get wins. And they're so hard to come by, like I said.
So you got to celebrate in victory lane with your team. Mark McFarland has been around for a while, but also your grandpa was there, Joe Gibbs. I mean, how special was that moment? Because I know for you as a 16-year-old, and we've talked about this in elevators at the hotels and at the racetrack, sitting out rain delays, those 3 runner-up finishes. This was even though it was a short amount of time in terms of a calendar, it felt like a long time for you to get to victory lane.
Yeah, I'm so glad I can have my whole family here. Usually, my mom comes and I'll win, but I guess my dad's coming this time, and I won my first ARCA race, so I might have to switch things up. But yeah, I'm just so excited. It hasn't even hit me yet that I've won this race, and it's been, we've worked so hard all year and finishing second, and it's been so close, and then finally getting one. It's awesome.
Joining us again is Ty Gibbs, winner of the Day-to-Day Coffee 150 at Wide World Technology Raceway, of course, over the weekend that you saw on MAV TV. Ty, real quickly, what has the competition been like this 2019 season of the ARCA Series, and how exciting was it to finally break through into victory lane after so many close runner-up finishes whenever you are able to run in the ARCA circuit?
Yeah, it means a lot. It takes a lot of hard work to get these wins. We've been knocking on the door for the last couple months here, getting wins or finishing second, and then we finally broke through. And this ARCA Menard Series, there's a lot of competition going on. It's probably the most challenging series I've been in this year so far. So it's you show a lot of emotion when you win these races. I'm so excited. I hasn't really even set in for me yet. So
I want to know, though, because we've talked about the late model stock car wars, where you kind of cut your teeth over the past few years. Do you miss those late models?
no, but I'm racing one this weekend with
You are?
a great group of guys with Triplet and Timothy, and I'm actually really excited to go back.
Where are you going?
Yeah, going to South Boston.
Wow.
Triple, I think it's a 200 lapper. So I'm
So-
very excited to hop back M1 after a couple of races, and hopefully it made me a better driver in these bigger cars.
Hey, Zach Evans is over here. That South Boston race is the first leg of the Triple Crown, isn't it, Zach?
Yes.
Okay, so are you going to be able to do more of the Triple Crown, or is this just a one-time thing?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we hope to see you there.
Yeah. I'll see you South Boston, though.
That's right. That's true. Absolutely. Oh, gosh. Ty, we got a lot of racing still to come this year. And what are you looking forward to most in terms of what you have on your schedule on that ARCA series?
I'm looking forward to everything. I'm just glad I'm put in this great situation with a great bunch of guys here, racing road courses to ovals. I'm just get as much seat time as I can. I'm just really thankful for the stuff I can do in this sport.
Ty, what was it like when your grandfather? What did he say to you whenever? Obviously, I know he was at Sonoma with the NASCAR program, but what did he say to you? Was he there?
Grandpa was at he was at
What
Gateway.
did Grandpa Joe say to you?
Grandpa, he's always excited. It doesn't matter where I finish or what I'm doing. He's always excited just to see me, and it meant a lot it meant a lot to me for him to be there, and he's just so excited. He gave me a big hug and gave me a high five, and we're just best friends. We go golfing all the time. We go get lunch. It's just like I have my best friend there.
Did you see any of the video that we showed on the live broadcast? I don't know if you went back and
Yes.
rewatched it, but he was like an emotional mess, dude.
Yeah, it's funny.
Who wins playing golf?
He destroys me. I'm a race car driver, so I can only play for like 15 minutes on the driving range hitting practice balls.
So you have you played a full 18 yet?
Yes, and I was not happy, and I can only play about 6. And that's my maximum, but I try to play. Getting better though. I say that I'm getting better.
Well, here's the deal. Sometime me and you before an ARCA race, we're gonna have to go golfing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm down.
I slice them, so I'm going to go off to the right. So if you go, in that same territory,
Yeah,
at least we'll
hit a couple houses,
Yeah.
break a couple windows.
Absolutely, I've done that. Honestly, there's a golf course in China Grove called the Warrior. It's right on the way to Mooresville from where I'm at here, and there's some houses on one of the holes, and all the time I hit this one house. Honestly,
Yeah,
boom on the brick.
I'm sure I've drilled a couple houses out there playing.
Oh my God,
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just drive away.
Hey, help us out here before we let you go, Ty. I want to know, we're asking some serious, in-depth questions here on the Morning Bullring this morning. And we're talking about the seasons of racing.
Here we go again.
And Brandon Paul, our editor, said he really hates, honestly, he's talking more in stick and ball stuff. He hates the period between the NBA and the NHL and before football starts. So, the summer months, he says, really when nothing else is happening but baseball, okay? But in racing terms, what is your favorite season? Spring, summer, fall, or winter?
I like summer more than anything because it
Wow.
shows how he shows how tough the drivers are in these cars, and they get so hot. And that's what I train for, and these temperatures, and the car it's physically demanding to get to these 200-mile races. So I like the summer period, and you can go out in the lake. It's not frozen out there. So.
Yeah,
he likes to sweat it out, Bob.
I'll just sweat it out. Awesome.
I have to say this, okay, because I watched Ty run in person a couple times and a lot on our Speed 51 network. We've been at a couple of tracks, Greenville, Pickens, and so forth, where you've won. But I didn't know what to expect, honestly, Ty, and we've talked about this at the racetrack. I didn't know what to expect from him in a full-body stock car. And I got to say, I'm impressed. If we were voting now on the short track draft, I think, honestly, now with the victory, you'd be a lot higher. And I would put you up higher because I'm impressed from one thing. And I want to know how you do it. You're really not always that good on a restart. But, man, if you have a long run, especially in these stock cars, you're opposite of some kids that punish their stuff early. You seem to get better as the race goes on. Where'd you learn that from?
I've learned that from this year's kind of been my biggest year of racing because I've kind of been to bad places the last couple of years and moving on to these good places with good guys. I've got a lot of knowledge I've learned from all these guys. They've taught me how to. My crew chiefs, Mark McFarland and David Triplett at Nelson or the late model team. He's taught me how to save a lot too, and that's what helps me out a lot. And these races are so long, you got to save the tires. That's what it all matters. That's what we got them at the end there for.
So you think you're going to have to save tires this week at South Boston when you go there? That's a tough little place.
Yeah, not as much because that's actually a really brand new track. But you still have to save. You can't go up there and burn your stuff up like a lot of these people do. But it's really hard to save, and I didn't even learn it until last year. I've been in this sport for 3 years now or 4 years now, so it's very hard.
Now, another serious question. Will you allow yourself to have a bologna burger, the world-famous bologna burger at South Boston?
Never.
Why not?
I'm not a bologna guy. I don't like that. I don't like
You
that
like
stuff.
to sweat it out.
Yep.
But you don't like bologna burgers.
Yep.
Do you like hot dogs?
Depends.
Elliott
I'm not a
Sadler,
bologna guy.
Ty, Elliott Sadler would be very disappointed with you right now, honestly, because he's the bologna
sorry,
burger
Elliott.
king from South Boston Speedway. But no bologna burgers for Ty Gibbs.
Wow.
Well, Ty, we appreciate you for being on the Hyperco hotline.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come on this morning.
A big congratulations on the win at
wake
Gateway.
up early when I was going to sleep in.
part of the game of
I'm
being
at the shop right now.
part of the game of being a big time racer, right?
That's right.
Oh yeah, not big time.
Hey, it's called media obligations, Ty.
I hate the media, honestly. Anyway, Ty Gibbs, thanks so much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when we get to Elko,
Thank you.
Minnesota. Congratulations.
Thank you. See you guys.
Ty Gibbs on the Hyperco hotline this morning on the Morning Bullring, and he's impressed me because, honestly, he's getting better with his interviews. Mm-hmm. I am impressed with that. I know he had a couple of short answers there, and that's a 16-year-old kid.
He's got a good personality.
Yes, he is. And he's kind of like a cross between, just I don't know who it would be, in terms of just a great personality. But then he's got like a little Matt Kenseth in him as well, a little dry sense of humor.
Kind of reminds me a lot of Ryan Newman.
And I forgot to ask him about Pensacola. Oh, Pensacola was rough when he was down there. We went to Fast Eddie's. Oh, my gosh.
You're rough with everybody at Fast Eddie's.
Not me. I wasn't on the track
I've got
with him.
video on my phone of you.
He annihilated some of his crew members down there. Full bore. Hit him when he was stopped.
We went with a group of people.
Was this the go-kart race?
Yes.
From Speed 51 when we were down there for, I think it was one of the Blizzard Series races. We had Jeff Fisher, Jeff Christensen, a whole group of us. And they took care of us at Fast 80s. We'll just say that. So we spent quite a bit of time on that track.
I think it was like 22 consecutive races.
Yeah. And I got off at one point, and I'm just out there relaxing, and this poor family comes walking up to get on the go-karts, and they have absolutely no clue what they're in store for because it's Bob, Duke Kentfield.
Oh, no.
Jeff Fisher was going slower than anybody. He was just out there having fun. But
you're not helping your cause.
But Bob and Duke let's just say I've got video on it that could be quite incriminating because there was one guy out there that could not get out of his own way, and Duke just weaves through him, and Bob just got right into the guy's left rear coming out of turn 4.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, he was gone.
Bob,
It was great.
Was the point used the famous point?
No, I didn't
No.
need the point. I just used the bumper.
Yeah, oh yeah, he had the bumper all right. But that, like I said, these poor families would come walking up and get in line and say, "Oh, this looks like fun," and they had no clue what they were getting themselves into.
Tell you what, no break. We're
No
just going to
break.
get Majeski on the
All right,
Hyperco
I got him
hotline
right here.
now. There we go.
Well, he's not on
No,
yet.
that's fine. That's
I gotta
fine.
call him.
So Ty Majeski goes up and wins the Alive for 5 series at Dells Raceway Park. We apologize to we weren't able to have that race. It was a late ad to Summer Thunder TV, but we pulled the plug on the live feed just prior to the race up in Wisconsin for the Trickle 99, and the reason is this. Jeff Fisher did a great job up there in terms of trying to decipher whether or not we were going to have signal. We were trying to pull some internet from the Wi-Fi system at the racetrack, try to get some of our cellular signal, and it just would not have provided us a steady signal. We would have gotten on the air, but whether or not you would have seen all the laps is another question. So because of that, we decided to pull the plug from the live feed. But right now, if you subscribe for the live feed, you also get all the on-demand highlights as well. And by virtue of being a subscriber, whether it's monthly or yearly, you can now see those highlights on the Speed 51 network. Isn't that right there, Tom Ryan?
That is correct. And also you could see Johnny Sauter on his weekend off from NASCAR. He started 15th. Not a great spot, but he ended up on the podium, and those highlights are now on the Speed 51 network thanks to Jeff Fisher.
What else do we have on the Speed 51 network?
We have tons of stuff coming up today, yesterday. We have a bunch of awesome dirt racing from Volusia this weekend that Alec took care of. We have Five Flags Speedway coming up today. Bunch of highlights from the Super Race, Blizzard Series race number 2. We also have Montgomery coming up. We have something that Wesley and I did out at I-77 Speedway in West Virginia, which is a nice little bullring, high-banked, fun track. Car went up on 2 wheels. It's the first time I've ever shot a car going up on 2 wheels, almost flipping. The man said, "Oh, I turned right and saved it." I don't know if he did or didn't. You make the call on the highlights, which are on the Speed 51 network, but a great recap. Those Mid-Ohio Valley drivers, they got it going on up there. So if anybody in the Mid-Ohio Valley wants to see some awesome dirt late model racing, go check out the Ultimate guys.
But did you do track bites?
We did not do track bites. We failed that horribly.
Looked like you did a few
Cody,
of them.
Mark, Wesley, and Tom.
Wait a second. Time out here. Time out. In my defense, I didn't know about this track bites until probably about 6 o'clock Friday afternoon when we had already ate dinner/lunch.
I've seen your belly. You could fit more in there.
We almost did it. We almost did it at 3 in the morning at McDonald's, where we were downloading and
geez, you
uploading
can't do that.
videos.
We
ran
thought
into
about doing it at McDonald's because we were, they got
It's not track bites.
Who do we run into at the McDonald's? Was the
Ryan
winner.
Montgomery.
That's
Oh,
right. The
that
winner.
ran
was
into
there.
That
Ryan
would've been good.
Montgomery.
Yeah,
we might
he's-
have to extend the show because we need to have him on here today.
We wanted to try the new foreign foods.
Excuse me?
Oh, at McDonald's, there's new foreign foods. They got stuff
Hey,
from.
we're really promoting McDonald's
I
greatly,
don't
aren't
think
we?
foreign is the proper word there, honestly.
It is foreign. It's from other parts of the country.
Classics
Australia,
classics
France.
from around
Yeah.
the world.
Those aren't other parts of the country, Wesley.
Oh, Wesley and Tom. You guys are a perfect pair together.
I don't know about that. Cody's over here turning red, laughing so hard. Anyway, we got tons more video. We got obviously everything from New Hampshire, which Brandon and Connor and Mr. Canfield.
Hey, listen.
Music video.
Listen,
What's up?
Brandon Paul says no excuses on not doing track bites, whether it be at the track or at McDonald's.
There you go.
Because Connor had 2 meals. He had a huge turkey sub, and then he made him eat the cheeseburger as well. And Connor, his quote was, "If I explode, it's your fault," Brandon Paul.
I hope we got that on tape.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But I mean,
Tom, I told you we should have done
speechless.
something there.
Well,
I really did.
you
In
know.
my defense, I did.
I was busy working on the network. Yeah, I'm
You got run over by a
yeah,
bus.
That's okay. You know what?
No. It's all good. No, we really didn't. It's not track food.
You guys are in trouble without me here the next 2 weeks.
It's not. It's
No,
not.
no.
But it's technically
Raging
not
Bulls
track
here
food.
the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
It's Raging Bulls.
I'm
He
I'm
likes
getting
that
shirts
nickname. You
made
hear
that
it?
say
You like
Raging
it, don't
Bull,
you, Mark?
because I'm normally
He likes
raging,
it.
so yeah, that'll
He
work.
likes it. I'll take copyright for that, by the way.
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
Wow.
See,
Got
Bob,
the heck of a hand
the
back.
wheels have come off.
Yes. Do we have
Yes.
Majeski on the hotline?
He's not
yet?
answering.
He's
He
not
keeps going
answering.
to
Ty
voicemail.
Majeski. I just texted him, too.
So-
I forgot to tell him it was a 386 number. He's an hour behind. He said he'd be up.
Yeah, we're going to Lakeview this weekend. Maybe we'll do some track bites there. If anybody from the Lakeview Speedway area
Chicken Bog.
has any ideas.
Yes,
Chicken Bog. Chicken Bog.
They
Let
have
me-
this.
Easy does.
They
yes.
have this thing
Backer
called
down 7,200 chip.
No, we just established last week he needs 64.
That's right.
But anyways, chicken bog. I'd never heard of it, and it's almost like a jambalaya type thing with rice and chicken and sausage and kielbasa and all kinds.
Yes.
And they serve it in a styrofoam cup. The problem is in the summertime they serve it at about 130 degrees.
It's hot.
So I mean,
Where
it
is
is
this?
hot. Lakeview.
Chicken Bog, Lakeview.
Really?
The guy,
They had
that
some.
giant barbecue
What is
trailer, they call it Chicken Bog,
Chicken
B-O-G, Bog. It's like a jambalaya, but with
You
chicken.
like-
Oh my, it is unbelievable.
I might not be able to do that one. I don't.
That
I
pork
like
chop
cheese
is pretty good there
curds?
I
too.
don't
They
eat
got good
jambalaya.
barbecue.
Yeah.
don't eat
but-
jambalaya.
We could definitely do track bites here. They
It's
got some
not
good stuff with
jambalaya.
that barbecue trailer.
We might have to keep Tom, Ryan, and Wesley Outland because you never know what they're going to call it.
It's
Yeah.
Chicken Bog. It really
Well, I'll be
is.
behind the camera this
There you
time.
go.
So
You can boil eggs. You can chop up eggs and put it in it. You can have sausage. And
From the looks of it,
celery
you can
and-
put a little bit of anything
Hey,
in
Yeah.
let's get Ryan Montgomery on the line. How about that?
All right,
10-4.
we'll
Let's
try
get
that.
his number. We'll try him instead, and we'll get back to Majeski because Majeski apparently is either working on a race car or not up yet. But he's still up in Wisconsin, which is an hour behind us. So it's just prior to 8 o'clock there. So we might go into OT today.
Might.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to, three more guests here in 33 minutes?
Track
Yeah.
them down.
Right to voicemail. Montgomery's sleeping as well. Look at that. Our guests. I know we got JoJo Wilkinson coming up at the top of the hour. We also have Derek Thorne, who is diligent and waking up early, 3
he's
hours
3
behind
hours,
us.
yeah.
So he's going to be like 6-something in the morning.
Well, we try getting Majeski. What about the big news out of Pensacola Friday night?
That was pretty neat. So here's the deal. At the drivers' meeting, Tim Bryant and I have been talking about this for a while, and I texted him after I saw the tweet. I'm like, dude, I didn't know you were going to announce it today. And he goes, oh, man, sorry, I forgot to call you. But basically what they're doing is the Short Track Alliance sat down with a group of promoters in Nashville, Tennessee several months ago. And one of the things that was discussed in that meeting, which was much to the surprise of some of the promoters, is that to take the page from dirt racing to some degree, the driver suggested running heat races. And it was an interesting call, and I think maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more next week on the Morning Bullring. We just have so many guests here today. But pavement super late model racing going to heat races at Five Flags Speedway during the next Blizzard Series and Southern Super Series race at that racetrack in the Panhandle of Florida. I know Cody Geyer did a story in regards to the reaction from the drivers, so I could have him on as well. He can get on the microphone over here. But, Mark, what was your initial reaction in terms of that announcement? Because I kind of told you guys, but I told you guys I wouldn't be talking a lot
Right.
about that stuff, so I didn't tell you specifically what was going on.
It surprised me, honestly, when I initially heard it, and then of course, and I wasn't paying attention, but I don't know if you mentioned that the feature race is only going to be 75 laps instead of 100 now. That part I absolutely love.
Yes.
Because it's going to make them get up on the wheel and go. And I think the heat races, I heard a little bit of grumblings here and there. Oh, they're going to tear stuff up. And the other guy said, well, then you're going to learn how to drive. You're going to learn how to race.
Right.
They've been heat racing in the Northeast as long as I've been going to races back in, starting in the late 70s. That's how you did it. You heat race and then you feature. So I think it's a win-win for the fans. It's a huge, huge win, I think.
This is what Ricky Turner, as well as Toby Noodleman, who are part of this alliance, and basically it's just a discussion amongst racers and so forth to present some ideas and thoughts and so forth on what's going on in pavement late model racing. But both of those crew chiefs basically said, listen, right now some of the inexperienced kids are qualifying up front, and then we have some wrecks. Okay, so why not have a heat race to determine the starting lineup? If we're going to wreck, at least have an incident in a heat race to give us the ability to fix our car in time for the feature when something really matters, when there's money on the line during the feature and points on the line, and that way maybe we're eliminating some of the incidents that we see from maybe some of the inexperienced drivers, maybe qualifying well up front and starting up front. So it'll be very interesting when we get down to that Blizzard Series race at Five Flags Speedway, and that's in the middle of July, the next Blizzard Series race at Tim and Pat and the entire Bryant family's racetrack down there at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. So that's cool. Cody, what were just some of the outtakes in terms of what the drivers' opinions were when you interviewed them?
The drivers we talked to, I mean, they were excited for it's a unique format for these drivers, and they were excited to see how it goes. They knew, it was for the fans, and, they're excited to give the fans a new product normally not seen in the Southeast with super late model racing. It's going to add a whole new element, and from who we've talked to, they say the 75 laps is going to be a all-out sprint.
Shootout.
Absolutely.
I like it. I am not a fan of qualifying. I'm not a fan of qualifying. When we do dirt track events, you go out there, you hot lap, you get 3 laps. Sometimes they do hot lap and qualifying together for if it's big shows. But I'm not a fan of qualifying. I like to see pill draws and go out and run heat races. And like you said, Bob, if you do get your car tore up, you have enough time to go back, make adjustments, make fixes, whatever you got to do for that quick 75 lapper. So I think it's cool. Less is more, and I think it's going to make it exciting.
I'll tell you something else that's being talked about with the racers, and I'll just let you know this right now. Double features on a single day. Should be interesting to see if we can get one of the promoters to try that. They do it a little bit up in the upper part of the Midwest. ARCA Midwest Tour, actually, triple features was scheduled earlier this year. But heck, they're old school racers up there with the ARCA Midwest Tour and all the racing that goes on in Wisconsin. We're going to get Ty Majeski on at some point here this morning. Been texting back and forth and trying to get him on the line. We're going to try to squeeze him in. But we'll definitely do that. And we're going to take a little quick break here. By the way, take the camera with Cody real quick. Happy birthday, 21 years old. Give this guy a shout out on Twitter. What the heck was that voice? Anyway, all right.
We always say that. Come on,
Oh,
Bob.
my gosh.
Who's we?
Happy birthday, Cody.
We won't sing happy birthday to you yet. Hopefully cake is coming a little later on in the day. You're watching the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco on Speed 51.
The Fast Track National Tour races into I-77 Speedway on Friday, July 12th, and Tyler County Speedway on Saturday, July 13th.
Speed 51's video network, where the battles are legendary. Get the full picture on short track racing. We will take you behind the scenes. Just a meathead. Your track, your driver, your sport, your passion. Dirt, late models, modifieds, and more. Race highlights, recaps, interviews, historic races, and thousands of on-demand videos. The Speed 51 Network, short track racers' home for the greatest video coverage.
5 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. We're going to go into overtime to get all of our guests on the program. Welcome back to the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco. Remember, go to hypercoils.com for all the cool things. It is just after 9 o'clock. It is time to go to the Racing Motorsports News. Joining us is Little BD, Blaze Dillner. What's up, buddy?
With leading over 100 laps already this season, Brad Sweet added to that by claiming his 5th victory of the season by winning at Beaver Dam Raceway, and it was his 2nd win in a row now.
Did he just say Beaver Dam Raceway?
I said Beaver Dam.
He did. He said Beaver
You said
Dam.
Morning Brewing, like we're drinking beers here.
Morning Bull.
You were the last to actually pick on anybody.
Yeah, and he just called Little BD, which he is your
Blaze Dillner.
little son, but he towers over you, Wesley.
He towers over all of us.
What is this? I thought we were a pack, Tom. Was this Pick on Me Day or something? Okay, fine.
we kid because we care.
That's right.
Buddy
And
Cole,
winter's still December 21st.
Buddy Colfoy won his first ever USAC Sprint Car Series victory with a win at Wayne County Speedway.
Wayne County. I've never been there. Cody, have you been there? No,
Wayne
he's
County?
never been there.
Orville, Ohio? Yes.
I don't know, yeah.
Awesome place.
Is it?
Beautiful facility.
How many racetracks you been to?
I don't know.
Okay. That's going to be a Twitter poll. We're going to have a...
I need to actually do that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next week. I want to find out if you or me is higher.
Now, does everything count? Dirt, asphalt?
You have to.
Duh.
have seen-
Dirt,
karting,
pavement
tractor
doesn't matter.
pulls?
100% short track racing, speed
but,
51.
But you have to have seen a race car turn laps on the track
Or-
or turn laps on the track yourself.
That's
Yes.
okay, so rainouts don't count.
Nope.
I agree with
Nope.
that. That's fair. Because I was supposed to go to Florence, Kentucky, and it got rained out, so it didn't count.
Right. I had like an iffy one up in Butler Speedway in Michigan once. I went there and I saw cars going around the racetrack while it was raining, trying to pack in the track, try to prevent it from getting a little bit
Pack
too
cars
soft.
don't count.
And then I'm like, does that? But it was race cars.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
yeah.
but I went back there with my wife Angie and saw some sprint car racing, so I could count.
I still like what you and I did up at Kern County
What
in
do we do?
California because they have a dirt track right next
Oh,
to
yes.
the asphalt track, and they were running heat races, so we stood on top of the tower for the asphalt track, watched the cars circling from afar, but that counts. We saw race cars
I
on the
did
track.
one better. I went over there and parked my car where I can watch them and watch them a
Oh,
little bit when I
yes,
left.
I did.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of another track, did you see where the announcement was that they're going to be running a 36-hour race?
36-hour race? No.
It's going to start on Friday. It's
I saw
gonna
the
end on
Badlands
Sunday.
deal where
no,
it's
not
$200,000
this
entry fee.
Badlands stuff.
Okay.
They just announced it. I think it's like Plains Valley Speedway.
Okay.
It's a track, I believe it's in Indiana. They're going to race 36
Okay.
hours, 100 cars.
Do you hear that music, though?
Wesley's
Yes,
available
it's
to
the
That
news.
means
That's
there's more
news.
news.
T-Mac Tim McCready raced his way to a $30,000 win
What was that?
That was me trying to imitate you. Go ahead.
by winning the Firecracker 100 at Lernersville. And also Bubba Pollard on Summer Thunder TV Friday night at Five Flags raced his way to win his 19th career victory in the Blizzard Series.
All right, Bubba Pollard, T-Mac, big names getting it done.
He forgot one, which was also on Summer Thunder TV, though. Augie Grill winning the Modifieds Mayhem.
We didn't forget it. We mentioned it earlier.
No, he did?
Yes.
I didn't hear it. So.
Yes, you mentioned it.
There
So
you
we
go.
didn't have
Patrick's
to.
got my back. 36-hour enduro race at Shady Bowl.
You didn't need to get
Wesley's
back.
available if they need an announcer.
Yeah. For all 36
all
hours.
36 hours, solo by himself.
Oh, you can bring Blaze with you, maybe.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a good job with the news. Only the second week on the air with us live here on the Bullring, and you liking your stuff?
I am, yeah.
You ready to host?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes. Look at that. 17
Coming into the
years
summer,
old.
I want to start out with the news, and then I could work my way into hosting later on this summer.
If you want to get in and ask some drivers questions, too, come on. We actually got to get JoJo on the phone, and Mark Killer's working on that on the Hyperco hotline. Tom, do we have that video ready by any chance? Because what we want to do is set the scene for you on what has happened with JoJo. JoJo Wilkinson, second-generation race car driver. Her dad, John Boy, just a fixture in the Deep South for so long. Remember watching him race at Birmingham Raceway and Five Flags Speedway and all over the Southeast. And JoJo is a winning race car driver, championship race car driver, from the Deep South now in the pro late model ranks. And she started out in the local ranks race. And here's what happened to her. She's the 11 car, and look at that hit there at Five Flags Speedway during an Alan Turner Hyundai Snowflake Pro Late Model race, so the Road to the Snowflake race. And this was just a couple of months ago. The car was completely destroyed. She actually had to have surgery on her leg. We are happy to report that she is not only okay after this incident once more. We'll take a look at it. What a hard hit for JoJo, one of the rising young stars from the Deep South. Just a tough hit right there. But because of the efforts of a lot of people and some hard work by herself, she's back. And she's on the Hyperco hotline right now. JoJo, welcome back to the Morning Bullring.
Hey, it's good to have me.
Yeah, good to have you on here. And I want to talk about this past Saturday night, the win, Huntsville Speedway, your second race back. You went to Sayre the week before. Talk about the emotion of getting back to victory lane after that hard hit and what we saw at Five Flags earlier this year.
Going back to victory lane after that wreck and after everything that's happened to not only me, but my whole entire family and race team at the time, just going back to victory lane, just seeing how hard we worked through everything and how hard I worked through the wreck and all my emotions, it just meant a lot to me and my dad, just everybody.
JoJo, what type of recovery, how long was the process? What things did you have to do to get your leg back better to get back in the race car and win again after that second start race and coming back?
Well, I was in a cast for about 6 to 7 weeks and then a boot following that. And I'm supposed to be starting therapy this Thursday. So after I start therapy and stuff, we'll be ready to go.
Did you feel any effects at all inside the car, either at Sayre or Huntsville or anything like that while you were racing?
Yes, sir, I did. But I just got in a rhythm throughout the race and just knew that it was going to be okay throughout the end.
I love the fact that you're a hard-nosed racer. You're a lady, and you're back, a real racer, running just a couple of months after an injury. John Boy, your dad, he sent me some of those photos, you at the hospital and so forth, keeping us up to date with what was going on. When you climbed out of the car, describe the emotion on Saturday night.
The emotions that were going through my head were nothing like before because I was just thinking about my wreck and what I remembered of it, sitting in the hospital, getting all the texts and everybody supporting me through it all. So it just made me realize like everything that was going on. So I just rethought about everything and just knew that I had a really good support group behind me, and it just meant a lot.
Joe, was there ever any time that you were contemplating or thinking, I'm going to hang it up, the wreck scared me, or did you just, what was the support group like?
Well, actually, whenever we were in the ambulance leaving the racetrack, I remember telling my dad and him holding my head and my neck. I remember telling him that I didn't want to do it anymore and I was scared, but him just saying it's not over yet and just telling me that he loves me, and then my sister being there for me. We actually lived like 5.5 hours from Pensacola, and as soon as she found out that I was in a wreck, she drove down with her daughter and was there. I couldn't even remember how fast it was, but it was really fast. And Tracy Hoskins, she lives in Canada, and I don't get to see her much, but whenever she is down, I don't have a good relationship with my mom, so she's definitely like a mother figure to me, and she was there the whole time. And after she left the hospital, she went right back to Canada, so it definitely meant a lot.
I could already tell you're a racer and wanting to thank a lot of people, and I think usually we try to honestly sidestep that sometimes as an interviewer because we want to talk about emotion and so forth. But I think the story in terms of getting a car ready after a car was destroyed and your car was junked at Five Flags Speedway, what was that process like and how much help did you have?
I had a lot of help. We would go into a Mexican restaurant and see some people we knew or just someone that we knew, and they would offer anything like money or their support, just everything. And we were so thankful for it, like from going from a wreck like that to knowing that you have so many supporters behind you and so many people that want to see you run good and make it to the top, it actually means the world to me, because whenever that wreck happened, I thought it was over.
So you get the victory, Huntsville Speedway. That's a good step. And I know in talking to your dad a little bit through text, it was a step. The one weekend you were coming back, he said, I'm racing. She's racing. And I said, you going to Montgomery? He goes, no, not yet. We're going to Sayre, we're going to go to Huntsville, and we'll build back up to things. What's next on your racing docket, and will you be back at Five Flags Speedway where the incident took place a few months ago?
Yes, sir. We're just going to keep running some local stuff as of right now, like a month or two, and then maybe not even that. I might be ready to go and go run Montgomery with the best of the best, like Casey Roderick and Bubba Pollard and, of course, Augie Grill. And another thing, if it wasn't for Augie, none of this would be possible as well. He's been so much help through everything. Like, he built our car, and it's just so great. But after Montgomery and stuff, we're just going to keep pushing on and try to get some good finishes there, and we will be back at Pensacola.
I want to know one thing, because like I said, I know your dad for a while. And your dad is an emotional dude, both on the track and off. He had the spirit on the racetrack back in the day. But when I've met you and talked to you and so forth, you seem calm, cool, collected. Where does that come from with John Boy as your dad?
I don't know. He's just a great dad, really. Just everybody that's been behind me and a part of my family, they've always told me to stay humble and know where you came from and just realize what's going on and stuff like that. So,
JoJo, this past weekend, WKA was at Charlotte. You started your racing career from racing go-karts. What was your thoughts of that big event that they had at Charlotte, and they're going to have it back next year? Would you jump out of your race car and race a go-kart where you've had success at?
yes, sir, that would definitely be really fun. I grew up with so many people that race go-karts, and Todd Miller, he was a real good friend of Dad's, and he's the one reason why I do love racing, because it just shows everything that goes on with racing and what type of family relationships and friend relationships you can build. So I would definitely look forward to going to race go-karts at Charlotte. They had a pretty big field as well, so that's always really good for go-karts these days.
Yeah, 600 cars, according to Wesley, on the dirt track. That was pretty impressive as well. That karting scene is amazing, and I know that's where you came from. JoJo, I just want to tell you that your family, honestly, has been a blessing to our sport for a long time. And we talked about your dad, but I'm really intrigued to see where you're going to go with your career. And I really appreciate you for taking the time, being so upfront and honest, talking after a wreck, allowing us to know what was going on in your, recuperation, and now getting back to victory lane and sharing that emotion with us. I wish you the best of luck, and we're rooting for you here at Speed 51.
Thank you so much.
You got it. JoJo Wilkinson on the Hyperco hotline this morning, and big victory for her.
Forgot to ask
in
her
her comeback.
winter, spring, summer, fall.
Yeah, I know. I just got, the emotion just kind of overwhelmed me because, I liked your dad for a long time. And, there was a comment on Twitter this morning that honestly ticked me off.
Ditto.
And you can see, we said we were having Joe back. She's back. She's won. She's recuperated. She's back in a car. And somebody said, what did she win up against? Whatever it was, 4 cars, 5 cars, whatever the comment was. And she won against 10, by the way. So the person was completely wrong. Okay. But number 2, I said, stay classy. Okay. Because people on social media sometimes don't stay classy. And number 2, I said, what were you doing this weekend, buddy? What were you doing? You mouthing off on Twitter, or you putting your money where your mouth is and getting behind the wheel of a race car? If not, shut up. That's what I have to say. And that's the Morning Bullring. We're presented by Hyperco this morning here on Speed 51. We'll be right back going to the left coast. And he says the left coast is the best coast. Derek Thorne on the Morning Bullring next.
The Ultimate Surfers.
Time to get this cranked up on Short Track America.
Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
$9:22 in the morning. We're headbanging here on the Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco. Nice switching right there, Mark Keeler.
I don't know what Tom just did behind me. I just saw the screen go black and I hit a button. So
By the way, I send this nice photo to Robbie Johnston yesterday, and I don't get any response back whatsoever. No response. Carbon Racing Solutions on the side of Corey Himes' ARCA stock car at Gateway. Did it just for my buddy. And he doesn't even text me back. Now you can get up here.
He's prime
come on
time.
up, Robbie.
He's big time now.
Actually, before Robbie comes up, we got a little music video we want to show. It's a
Okay.
minute and a half. It's a little fun little ditty.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see it here on the Speed 51 Morning Bullring presented by Hyperco. Good morning, Short Track Racing. Hello, everybody. I am Bob Dillner in the house here at Studio 51. Right. So we got plenty to talk about this morning, and why don't we kick things off with it? I think that's a good way to get started right here. Mark Keeler. How you doing, Mark Keeler?
I'm here. I'm good. I'm good.
You're here. He's like, I'm here. I'm here. Bottom line, grassroots racing at its best. Street stocks and compacts, they were the best at Bristol, and we appreciate all the support that they show. Because I'm a big lover of dirt late model racing, as you can see. You know what it is? Like Mark Keeler was like, they're all dirt late model up here. Well, we got Kendra Adams up here, okay? So that's good. But at the same time, pavement racing, in the super late model world, and a little bit on the modified world they have, but they don't have much in super late model. So
behind Jacusa, getting ready for this big event. The idea of having this race of this magnitude up in Canada, where did it come from, Alex?
Dale always used to play games with the media, and we were at Dover. And I kept on seeing J.R. Rhodes, his manager at the time, would peek out, and look and see how many people were there. And, and there was a big conglomerate of media behind his rig. And I looked at my brother, and I think Steve Green was there, a cameraman, and I said, Dale ain't coming out the door. He ain't coming out this one. And they're like, what do you mean? Everybody's here. I'm like, follow me. Like, where are we going? We're going to miss it. I said, follow me. And the rig's at Dover. On the one side, they park up to grassy hill. Right. Okay? So I said, he's going out the side door. He's going to go around the front. Going to climb up where you climb up that ladder. He's going to go underneath the wooden railing and out to the coach lot. So they're like, really? I'm like, just stick with me. So I go out around to the front, and I'm there. And he comes around the corner, and he thinks he's all like coy and stuff. Like, he's cool. I'm out of here. I avoided it. And he looks up, and he sees big old me, and he goes, you got me. All right. And he did an interview. So, that's the way he was. Those are the games he played. Good job by Robbie Johnston. A great new addition here to Speed 51. And Robbie is a little shy, but we're going to put him on camera here. How was that actually shooting all of us and all the chaos that goes on during the morning bullring?
That was a lot of fun, and y'all had a great show that time.
I came in late.
Morning. Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did. Actually, we got a comment on social media that says, hey, glad to see that Wesley woke up this morning, by the way, and that was from Mamba himself.
I did, Mamba. I did.
Yeah, but Robbie, did you like the photo? I thought it was like Robbie Johnston-esque with that depth of field that I had with your logo there, very prominent on the side of that car.
Yeah, that was great. I saw it yesterday, but I was driving all day from Mississippi, so I didn't want to text and drive.
Good boy. Good boy. So what do you think about, being part of Speed 51 right now? Are we just flat out nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Simply said. Robbie Johnston with us this morning. Like I said, a great addition. Provides a lot of different things, a different look to Speed 51 and the video network for sure.
Hey, ask him the question. He's from Mississippi.
Okay, real quick.
Winter, spring, summer, fall, Robbie Johnston.
Winter.
Winter, because it's hot in Mississippi.
Yes.
And when does winter officially start?
Whenever it gets below
50.
70.
No, yeah.
70. He's a Mississippi 70.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever been to a Mississippi State Challenge Series race?
No, I haven't.
No, dirt late models down there. I've always wanted to get to that. Are you like an Ole Miss fan or a Mississippi State fan for college football?
I'm an LSU fan.
LSU fan.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Well, he's right on. You're on the border of Alabama, though, aren't you?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I figured it'd be Ole
We're going to
Miss.
figure this out at
I
some
really
point. We
did.
got to get back to the Hyperco hotline. Derek Thorne on the line from California. Good morning, Derek, and a real good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
I'm not bad. How are you doing? Because it's only 6:27 in the morning out there.
I did have to set my alarm a little earlier than usual, but hey, it's not too bad. It's doing good. Sun's coming up. Good old Bakersfield's a little smoggy today, but everything's looking pretty good.
It's a little smoggy out there. Bakersfield, good town. Love Kern County Raceway Park. How's the family doing? How's the son doing, Hudson, and so forth? How's that growing for you?
She's doing good. The wife's good. She's got another bun in the oven, and Hudson's a little terror. He's getting big, quick, getting tall enough to reach into the drawers that we no longer have child safety locks on. So my honey-do list gets a little longer every day, I feel like. Every time I leave, go to work, come back home, and there's something else I got to fix or change to help keep him out of something.
So what is it about being a super late model kingpin? Bubba Pollard's on Baby Watch having number 2. You and your wife are having another one. What is it about the successful drivers and super late models having their second kid right now?
I don't know, man. It just seems to be maybe there's something in the air or something in the water, and everybody's just kind of going along at the same little pace there. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it's kind of odd that there's so many all at once.
So when are you expecting? We need to know this.
Oh, man, I think it's mid-August.
Mid-August. Okay, so Bubba's on Baby Watch now. You'll be on Baby Watch come mid-August. How's that going to be handled with another possible run at a SRL Southwest Tour Championship?
I think we're going to have to. The SRL races aren't too bad. There's a few open shows that we have circled on our schedule we'd like to go run, and it's all going to kind of depend on that, on whether or not those work themselves. That's the hard part. But the 2 races for SRL are actually pretty close. One's here at Kern, which I think we're going to have to bow out of because of the summer showdown this next weekend, or this coming weekend. And then another one's at Irwindale in mid-July. So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear and see what happens.
Let me ask you about that, because that is a serious question. It's the whole super late model scene, and I'm going to get yelled at by some people for bringing this up, but it's there, and this is proof positive this weekend. SRL is running, Kern County, and that race will be part of the Summer Thunder TV package on Speed 51. That's exciting, but so is the Summer Showdown. What's going on in the world of super late model racing out there that when you schedule races, you don't schedule on top of each other? And I know a lot has to do with this body situation. They're allowing the body up there at Evergreen with the Summer Showdown. They don't allow it on the SRL circuit. What are your thoughts on that? And I don't mean to put you in the middle of a controversy, but from a racer perspective, and Derek, we talk a lot when we see each other, that's a really weird deal to have.
Yeah, it does. It's unfortunate for us because it'd be nice to be able to do both, but I always try to play Switzerland. I'm not, no matter how sticky the rules may get, or how I guess I feel that maybe one thing could be better than the other as far as the rules package or bodies or scheduling conflicts. But I would never want to be a promoter. I think they're in a really tough spot, and I'm not exactly sure why the races overlapped. And I think from my perspective, I think it's a very unfortunate situation. But there's such a big gap between us and the Northwest. I think from a viewership standpoint, I think there's going to be one race that draws more fans than the other as far as who's going to watch what on TV. But I don't think there's a whole lot of people from down here in, the SRL that I think are going to make it up there to Washington. And even if the races didn't overlap, I'm not sure how many more cars that the Summer Showdown would gain from the SRL or vice versa. But, nonetheless, it's an unfortunate circumstance that we're just going to have to kind of play with because, the current race is only 10 miles away, and we're obviously hiking up to miss that race to drive, 1,600 miles north from the Summer Showdown.
Summer Showdown is going to be a blast this weekend. Evergreen Speedway out there in the state of Washington. Speed 51 will have coverage throughout the 3 days that event takes place. So we'll be watching Derek Thorne and so many others out there. Derek, you've come close in that event in the past. The runner-up finish a couple of years ago, a third-place run as well. Skipped it last year while running the K&N West circuit. How excited and eager are you to get back to Evergreen this time around?
Looking forward to it. We're the strongest. I feel like we're the strongest we've ever been. Between Byron Campbell, Mike Keene, and everybody in this program. I think we've had a good little run here the last couple months. And I think we've just been snake bit up there. So every time we go up there, we've either gotten spun leading or we had a flat tire last 2 years ago and went a couple laps down and beat our heads against the wall for the last 150 laps. So looking forward to getting up there. We got the speed, I think. We got the people. We got the equipment. I think no matter what you do at that place, I think you just need some lady luck. So hopefully we can get up there and have that on our side this year for the first time.
Derek, when are we going to see you come from the West Coast back to the East Coast to put some races under your belt again?
We want to. We really do. It's just logistically, it's tough for all of us. The grape season, Byron Campbell and 4-Star Fruit, and that's his bread and butter is the grape stuff, and it kicks off here the last couple of weeks. And most of the guys that are on our crew or Byron, it's right in the middle of picking season, so it's tough to jump ship and go run. It'd be cool to go back there and hit up like the Slinger Nationals, go to the Winchester 400, be back there, run that Milwaukee Mile race you guys had last weekend. I think in our hearts we'd all love to be back there. It's just logistically speaking, it's tough. But hopefully here, I know they got a pro late race in Memphis, possibly mid-July, depending on how the whole baby situation falls. And then, it'd be good to get back there and run Pensacola once or twice before the Derby rolls around. And, we'll just have to kind of see. I know you guys as Speed 51 Super Select's back in business, so, we'll just have to wait and see how it all folds out. But we'd love to be back there racing more often for sure.
Well, you are invited to that Super Select. You were actually on the poster last year. Hold on.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, yeah, his car was on there. Derek Thorne, what's your thoughts of that race, buddy? Winner take all, no holds barred. May the best man win.
I think that's cool. What you guys are doing for super late racing on your end with Speed 51, and then to bring that in, I believe it's a good shot in the arm for the sport. I think there's a lot of racers out there looking to race races, and for you guys to put that on, I think that's all good stuff. Hopefully everything works itself out.
So let's talk about this, Derek. We got to talk about scheduling. Baby in August, early August or late August? What are we talking about here? Because I want you at my Super Select.
Early August.
Okay, well that's good because we're September 7th. So what are what are the chances that we're going to see you there?
That'd give us a month at least. I talked to the boss about it on Friday. He was going to kick it around, so hopefully it comes by today and we'll kind of know more about it. But
absolutely,
I've learned with this baby situation, you're never quite sure when they're going to decide to come popping out. So we'll have to. Hopefully by then we'll have, a month or two or month and a half after the fact to kind of work that out. So I'll keep my fingers crossed and see what the boss man says.
You tell Mr. Campbell to give me a call too. We'll talk because I want all Derek Thorne out there. We need some West Coast. Jeremy Dassa might be coming out as well. So that should be interesting as a winner from this year. And basically what this is, so people know, it's a race.
It's an all-star race.
No holds
Super late
barred.
models.
Winner take all, more than $10,000 on the line. We invite the winners from all over the country. They get an automatic spot, a free entry, a set of tires, blah, blah, blah. More stuff coming out about that. But then there's also another race that is held to add more people to the back end of the field as well, a qualifier race, so to speak. So a lot of information coming out on the which will be the inaugural Speed 51 Super Select after a hurricane ruined it last year. Oh, poor Derek Thorne, you were texting me. Are you still having it? Are you still having it? Where'd you make it to last year before we turned you around?
He made it to Missouri, I believe. The truck driver did. He did that. We did it to him twice last year. Like the weather didn't look super great, but we sent him just in case, and then we would decide to fly or not when the time came. And he made poor guy. I called him up. I'm like, hey man, I don't know how far you made it, but good job. But you got to come back home.
So that flyer.
Time to stuck around.
So that flyer, Bob, was a race that never happened.
Yeah, it's a collector's item. We have a couple hundred of them here in the office. I'm going to have to send you one, Derek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll hang it on the wall.
Hey, Derek, so racing competitors in super late models, are they more harder to beat in the West Coast or the East Coast? That's a question I want to ask you.
You know, I think there's a select level of guys, I believe, that they have their game stepped up that are just as hard to beat as going back there. But I believe when you go back there, there's no way that you could argue the fact that, I think going back to the Derby, or when you see like the level of talent that showed up to the Milwaukee Mile, up in the Midwest, those guys back there are tough. And I think it's the further back east you go, the more quality or level of quality drivers and teams and cars you run into. So I think in that retrospect, I think it just as that progresses, it's just tougher to beat. People are harder to beat, more quality stuff. And the guys back there are no slouches behind the wheel. So when you go back there, you got to have your A game.
Derek, we talked to Eddie McDonald on the show a little bit earlier on, and we asked him, does he miss the K&N East circuit and, why he wasn't running it, that sort of thing. Well, the same could be said for you. You're a former K&N West champion. You ran last year and had that great year once again. So I want to know, do you miss it, and would you like to come back again, and why aren't you there?
Money is the first reason. It's an expensive sport, obviously, and I think super late racing is, I always try to explain to people, you look at like the front springs on a K&N car, if you go to Renton and buy a set of 300-pound or 350-pound front springs, you're going to go spend, $1,500 to $2,000, and then try and get it set up to qualify at the right time to have the crossover not hit the ground, and then you have the wrong spring. You show up to the track, you're hitting the ground, you're trying to adjust springs and rounds and stuff like that. With super late, you got, coilover with a bump spring inside, take packers in and out to adjust that thing, and you can adjust in a matter of seconds versus a matter of hours to readjust the entire front end on a K&N car. But I enjoy super late racing. I think that's where my heart's at, to be honest with you. But I really enjoy the K&N series racing. The opportunities I've got have always been fun. Road course racing's an absolute blast, when you go race the K&N cars, like a place like Sonoma. But, the time being, super late racing is where my heart's at. I feel like that's the level of competition's a little bit higher. You can travel around the country and, intertwine with other divisions and run against the best in the country. As to where the K&N series, I feel like you have an east and a west. And, sometimes you don't end up racing against as many cars as you want, or maybe the quality of field that you want.
Speaking of Sonoma, Derek, did you see the race on Saturday in the K&N West Series?
I saw the replay of it. I wasn't there to see it in person, but I did get to see a replay.
So what's your thoughts of the final restart there in overtime between, of course, Ryan Preece and Daniel Hemrick? Did he jump the start?
I couldn't tell. The camera angle that I saw, the green flag was, I tried to slow it down. The green flag was out when he took off. But, from my experiences last year in the K&N series, they're just black and white. There's I'm sure the officials had a good view of the restart zone, so I'm assuming there's a go, no-go zone. And if, I've seen it, I saw it happen 3 or 4 times last year. Like, if there's a position on that track and them guys go a half a car length or a car length soon, they got no problem pulling the black flag out, and at least they're consistent. If they did the same to Noah Gragson earlier in the race, if he did the same thing, it's only right to do the same thing to Preece. if he did the same thing. I don't think it's right. I don't agree with it, but at least I guess they're staying consistent.
Mr. Switzerland.
That's it. That's what I do. Just riding that white line, man. It don't matter.
Just tells it like it is.
It don't matter. It don't matter how my opinion is. It ain't gonna change anything. But
That's right.
I feel like I always last year in the K&N series, if I was leading the race and I was gonna restart, I was well within the box before I took off because I got nabbed or saw a couple guys get nabbed for very small little windows where it's a gray area. And I think NASCAR's just trying to get rid of that gray area and go straight black-white.
So he's been victim of it.
I think they need to go green because I saw the green flag out. Anyway, that's just me. But, hey, before we let you go, we have a Twitter poll going on about this right now. What is your favorite season of racing? Spring, summer, fall, or winter?
It doesn't count. He lives in California. It's
Let him
always
answer the
warm
question.
there.
You race year round. I like. I'm gonna say spring racing's probably some of the
Wow.
Springer. I feel like summertime around here is hot. You go back to like Pensacola or something in fall, and it is super humid. So I feel like anytime the humidity or heat's not at an all-time high is a good time to be out at the racetrack.
You know what I think is a bunch of hogwash? Anytime I go out to the West Coast, whether it, be, in California or a little bit inland to like Phoenix or something like that. Oh, it's hot out here, but it's a dry heat. That's a bunch of hogwash. It's still hot.
I know. I'm famous for saying that too, because I would rather be out here in 110-degree heat than back like a Pensacola on a 90-degree day.
I'm sorry.
90% humidity. It is so heavy, man. It's like I feel like you're swimming. Out here at the shop, we have like 3 swamp coolers, a couple swamp coolers on the roof. If I turn those things on at 9 a.m., when it starts to get warm by 3 p.m., I feel like I'm living in Pensacola, and it is miserable. It's actually better to have no humidity at all, I feel like, and just bear the heat and call it good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I think the heat is definitely different whenever it's hot, from Carolina heat to Mississippi heat. Robbie Johnston, you know what I'm talking about, buddy? The locust bugs.
He's not on the microphone right now.
Yes.
But
he's in the audience.
But by the way, here are the results so far on our Twitter poll. 6% say winter. 9% say spring, so you're in the minority there, Derek. 35%.
Story of my life.
Yeah, 35% say summer, 50% say fall. But here's another serious question for you before we let you go. There was a little bit of a debate this morning as to when the Snowball Derby race falls. Is it a fall race or a winter race? What is the verdict from California?
Winter. Anytime you have a race in December, it's got to be considered winter. I feel like we'll make the cutoff. We'll make the cutoff Halloween. I feel like that's when you cross from fall. I guess it's gonna be later than that. November.
I say Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I say that's the cutoff between fall and winter.
Apparently,
You're
school.
wrong.
Apparently, in school,
it doesn't matter
y'all
about the
did not
solstice.
pay attention to the days of the winter, the spring, summer, fall. We just turned summer 3 days ago.
Oh, man, it goes with when it's cold or hot. Like Fredrickson said, Dan Fredrickson said, if I'm towing to the Snowball Derby out of snow, it's winter.
He did, and I got to agree with Dan on that. Yeah.
Well, hey, Derek, we wish you the best of luck. I know back in 2015, that second place finish, or it was a third, second, something like that. 2 years in a row, you were second and third. We hope you get the victory this weekend. Wish you the best of luck out there in Evergreen, Washington.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for doing what you do, and I appreciate the support.
Derek Thorne, Mr. Switzerland on the Hyperco hotline here on the Morning Bullring. Maybe that might come out at the Snowball Derby this year. I love it. And he does, because we've asked him a couple of questions and so forth. But you notice he's like a veteran now. He really answers the question, but then he says he also understands the other perspective. And honestly, that's the best way to do it, because there are always two sides of the story, and then someplace in the middle there's the truth.
And that's what Switzerland people do?
That's right.
You've
They're
never
neutral.
heard that expression?
You've never heard of that?
No.
You know,
where are you from?
They taught it to me in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
What school did you go
had
to?
Go there? Okay,
Hey,
y'all got Switzerland for that, and then I've got
Try
winter
Majeski
December
one more time.
21st.
One more time?
One more time. We'll
Okay.
try Majeski. Otherwise,
Yes.
we're going to yell at them.
Hey, 2
through
weeks to
social media or
Slinger
whatever.
Nationals.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that. Slinger Nationals coming up. Stephen Nasse is going. Daniel Hemrick is going. Bubba Pollard's going to be back. Ty Majeski's going to be there. Everybody that we normally expect to be up there. We're real excited about Slinger Nationals. We always love Slinger High Bank Quarter Mile.
I was talking to somebody about that the other day. My friend Paul Small, as a matter of fact,
Paul
from
Small,
WKA,
Cowboy.
man. He told me to tell you hello, by the way, man. He did, and he was telling me about, because again, I haven't done asphalt racing in probably about 5 years or so, hit or miss a couple of events, but like the Slinger Nationals is like the track is a quarter-mile bullring, like you said, and it's high banked like Bristol.
Said that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's high bank like Bristol, and I mean, he said it's really something to watch. Definitely.
That is where the phrase was actually born. A lot of people mistake Bristol for the phrase from Dick Trickle being born, where he said it's like flying jet fighters around a gymnasium.
Yes.
It actually came from Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin. The late great Dick Trickle had many famous sayings, but that was certainly one of them.
Some that we can't say.
In a gymnasium.
Hey, did you see the results of our other Twitter poll?
Oh, we had another one?
Yes, the
Zach Mitchell's
about
watching.
Ryan Priest. Should Ryan Priest have been penalized for the K&N or at the K&N West race at Sonoma? And the overwhelmingly 84% said no, 16% say yes.
Yeah,
So-
I add mine to that. I'm going to vote as well.
Yep.
I say no because, listen, I understand the box rule if they had one in effect, and I think sometimes, and I wasn't there, but sometimes they say once the front row gets out of that little corner and you get straight, you go. Listen, the spotters are watching that green flag.
Yep.
Green means go. Ryan Priest stood on the throttle pedal, okay, when the green came out, and therefore I think he was in the right.
Penalize the flag man.
I'm with the majority.
Me and you don't agree with the what day the seasons change, but I will say, Bob, that I do agree with you on that. That he was not at the restart box. No, they were not at the restart zone when he took off.
Somebody
but the
said it was a
flagman
line.
waved the green. When the flagman threw that green flag in the air, they know to go.
Like I
They're
said,
not thinking about that painted
No.
box.
penalize the flag man.
Yeah.
Because he threw the green
Or
before they got to the
flag woman, because
to
some
the box.
women are flagging now.
Usually the flag man is listening to the race director too, honestly.
Yep.
So it'd be great to get some clarification on that from NASCAR. We heard Ryan Priest's comments through Claire B. Lang, and that was really interesting. He was pretty heated. I don't blame him. I appreciate his spirit because he didn't say NASCAR is an idiot or NASCAR stinks or whatever. He just said, I disagree, and it was wrong. And he blamed NASCAR for it, but at the same time, he didn't go over the top in what he did.
He quoted Mike Stefanik quite well, but
Yes, he did.
Other than that,
Oh, Mike
So you don't
Stefanik.
think there'll be
Callback.
any penalty or punishment or
I hope
anything
not.
like that?
I hope not. If they're not going to punish some other things, there shouldn't be any punishment for that.
Right.
I really don't. Although we have
He
seen it.
he used some abusive language.
He did. He
You
did.
know, he said some curse words where they had to beep, but they didn't
But
beep it on social media. So
Here's the problem with that to some degree. The problem is if you find these drivers, okay, the problem is you're going to have them speak more politically correct. And if you're trying to get more color into the sport, sometimes you got to let some stuff go.
he didn't say anything bad.
No, so hopefully they let Ryan Priest go. Do we have Majeski on?
And this is actually our first official call in because he just called me after
Okay,
we called
very
him several
cool.
times. So.
Call in on the Hyperco hotline. Ty Majeski, we're in overtime. We tried to catch you earlier, but thankfully we got you on the Morning Bullring here presented by Hyperco. Good morning to you. Are you there, Ty?
Morning.
There you go.
I'm here. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Not as good as you. You're still up in Wisconsin, in the land of the
I
cheese
am.
curds, right? Are you a big cheese curd fan?
I am a cheese curd fan. They're always good. Something you got to have if you're in Wisconsin, that's for sure.
So do you like them fresh and uncoated, or do you like them fried and battered?
I think a combination of both, but I probably prefer a battered, yeah, for sure.
Really? Okay. I like them squeaky. I
Yeah.
love them. Kevin Ramsell, a buddy of ours, actually brought me some from the farmers market when I was up there at Madison a couple of weeks ago for the ARCA event, and I brought them back to North Carolina and been enjoying them. So, but enough about cheese curds. Let's talk about the Trickle 99, Dells Raceway Park, this past Saturday night. How awesome was that to win that race in honor of the late, great Dick Trickle?
It's always special. I mean, he's one of the best to ever step into the race car. Period. Obviously, he's got a lot of history within the sport, specifically in the Midwest. So we all look up to him as Midwestern racers, and we have a lot of kind of a sentimental value to him within our team. My car owner Brad Mann says his dad was a big supporter of him way back in the day and supported his late model career up in the Midwest. So Brad kind of carried his dad's torch and is now helping me out, obviously, and it's pretty cool to have it come full circle. And he always tries to hit those Dick Trickle Memorial races, and whenever I have a hole in my schedule and I'm able to come up, we definitely are trying to run them. So it's really neat to put it in victory lane and do it for my car owner Brad.
Of course, Johnny Sauter got penalized, one race suspension from NASCAR after his actions at Iowa in the truck race. What was it like racing against Johnny Sauter on Saturday night?
It was just really cool to see all the hype for the race. Obviously unfortunate that happened to Johnny, but it also created a lot of buzz for Midwest short track racing and got it a lot of press. So it was really cool to see Johnny put out that tweet that he's going to go to the Dells, and it really helped that race and create buzz for it, and it was cool to be a part of it. Obviously, anytime Johnny shows up to the racetrack, he's going to be a contender to win, and he certainly was on Saturday. And obviously, it's always a lot of fun racing him, just because he's such a great racer. I'm lucky I was able to hold him off for sure. I mean, he was definitely coming there at the end, but I think we're a little bit better on the long run. We were able to hold him off.
Hey, with that in mind, caution free the other night in the race. That's spectacular, honestly. Were you worried about having a late race caution, and were you thankful one didn't come because Johnny was very strong?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, it would have been a great show for the fans to put a show in at the end, but also that's just a testament to Midwest short track racing. I mean, that's where a lot of the great racers are. I mean, there's a ton of great racers and a ton of great racetracks up here, and to go green to checker like that in a full fielded 26 late model race at Dells Raceway Park is pretty unheard of. So it was really neat to see that, and you don't see a whole lot of that anymore, and it's cool to see that it's still around.
You know what's cool is the fact that you have not forgotten about your roots, your super late model racing again. That's a little bit of a disappointment as well because you're a former number one pick in the short track draft. We know you have the talent. We want to see you in the upper echelons of NASCAR. 2 wins in 3 ARCA starts, and then a second place finish for your third ARCA start with Chad Bryant Racing. What's going on with Ty Majeski and what you're going to do this year and what you're trying to do and put together? Because we'd like to see you in both places, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's my goal. I'm always going to come back and race late model races as long as I'm capable of, and I'm trying. That's my goal. I want to be racing on Sundays. I want to be racing on Saturdays, but it's an uphill battle. Obviously, last year was really tough, and got a good opportunity to kind of keep myself relevant this year with Chad Bryant Racing, and it was a good fit because we both had a lot to prove. Obviously, last year I didn't run how I feel I'm capable of running, and I know Chad has kind of felt the same way in the last year with his program. So it was a great fit for both of us to kind of prove what we can do, and for him to prove where his equipment is at, and prove what I can do as a race car driver. And it's worked out. Obviously, it really couldn't have gone any better. All 3 races kind of played out differently. There's late race restarts at Charlotte, then Pocono. I won it on a green flag pit stop at the end, and then Michigan came down to fuel mileage, and we almost won that one too. So I'm gaining a lot of that really valuable experience that I wasn't able to gain last year. So just taking it all in and learning as much as I can, and hopefully I'm able to apply it to a better program here in the future.
Yeah, Ty, I saw you at Charlotte at the ARCA event, and of course, running with Chad Bryant Racing on the ARCA Menard Series. How many more races will you be with that team?
right now it's just 2 more. So Chicagoland coming this Thursday, and then Kansas in October. We're trying to add maybe 1 or 2 more in there, but so that's it. I'm wishing that we had more, but I think we were able to make the most of the ones that I've had. So it's been a good season so far.
You jumped right over, and went into the upper tiers of NASCAR and so forth. But what do you think running those ARCA races has done for you, and how good of a stepping stone is it for somebody that's trying to make a jump in his or her career?
I think the biggest thing is the biggest thing I'm lacking is seat time and experience. I was racing with Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric last year, both of which ran full-time trucks the year before, and Chase was full-time ARCA the year before that. And I basically came in there with about 5 ARCA races and 3 Xfinity races under my belt. So it's tough. Just the little things. It's the restarts. It's positioning your car in traffic. It's coming in and out of pit road, down pit lane. All that kind of stuff that I didn't have any experience with made a difference last year. And it was a tough situation. And I'm thankful I'm able to get some seat time, but ultimately I need to be in a car each and every weekend in order to kind of to maximize my potential. I feel it's just really tough going in there with less experience than even a lot of these younger guys I'm racing with have more experience than I do, and that's definitely been an uphill battle, but we're doing the best we can to change that.
Ty Majeski again joining us here on the Morning Bullring as we are in overtime. Ty, I got a question for you, bud. Let's just say you have become the ambassador for esports, for iRacing, having them as a sponsor. What did that mean to you, and where do you see esports at today with it?
Well, obviously iRacing has been a huge supporter of mine. I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of what I've done on the late model level without them. I mean, they've been a huge supporter of mine, and we have a great relationship together. And esports is taking over all of sports. I mean, not just in NASCAR. I mean, you see it with Madden tournaments and NBA and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's going to take over. And iRacing made a big jump this year. They have huge prize money for the PKNI Free Series this year, and it's certainly taking off, and it's only going to grow. So it's really cool to see them a big part of it, and NASCAR kind of being a part of it as well. So that's going to be something to look forward to in the future for sure.
Are you still number 1 and 2 on iRacing in the nation right now?
I am. I unfortunately I don't get on there as much as I used to. I definitely still get on there to if I need to, if I'm going to a new racetrack and stuff like that. But I'm not on there every single night like I used to. But definitely still use it to my advantage for sure.
I talked to Dale Jr. about this a little bit, and he had something in regards to iRacing and esports and so forth on his Dale Jr. download. And a lot of people are like, oh, is it real racing? And Junior, I think, is right. It is real racing. It's just of a different type. So as I see the esports industry explode, what are your thoughts on how this is going to evolve as racing, honestly, gets more and more expensive? Are we going to see more and more of e-racing as part of the future of motorsports?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think what's cool about iRacing is there's so many different levels of equipment you can get, and you can get really in-depth, and it's really neat from that standpoint. But to your point, racing is getting expensive, and esports just is not that expensive to do. You can do it with a laptop and a $150 wheel and go and win races. And that's exactly what I have. But you could also spend $20,000 on a motion simulator and a VR headset and all that kind of stuff and have it be super realistic. So there's definitely a lot of different variations of iRacing, and your average person can do it. And that's what's cool about esports. You get a wide range of people, and you reach a lot of different types of households, and that's what's cool about it.
So how do you do it?
I have a laptop on a desk with a fold-out chair with a $150 wheel that I bought in 2010 used.
That is awesome, dude.
Yep.
Hey, so Ty, my question is this, bud. Obviously, you bump and bang on the racetrack. Things happen on the racetrack.
Yep.
Have you ever settled any rivalries with drivers that
you get penalized in iRacing, I think, for it.
Don't stop. Have you ever tuck anybody out, give them the chrome horn, bump and run, spin them out, crash them for revenge for what they done on the real track?
So that's a funny story. So when I first
here we go.
When I first started I was sponsored by iRace, and this was early in 2015. It was for Speed Weeks actually, and they sponsored me and stuff, and I was racing with a guy. I'm pretty sure it was in a Legends car at Thompson, and we got into it a little bit. And anyways, I ended up getting a week suspension, and I called into iRacing and apologized to him, and said I was never going to do that again. So I ruffled some feathers a little bit. So I never did that again. So I figured, internally at iRacing, that wasn't good for their guy that they're sponsoring to be wrecking other people on the service. So I never did that again, and I try and keep my nose very, very clean on there for sure.
Talking to Ty Majeski on the Hyperco hotline on Speed 51. And Ty, I want to know, in regards to your schedule moving forward, do we have Slinger Nationals? What else do we have on the docket?
Yeah, so right now, obviously, I run Thursday Chicagoland, which had Brian racing in the ARCA car, and then my next races after that are going to be the Slinger Nationals, of course, and then the Thursday after that, so 2 days after that, we'll be in Kaukauna, which is where the Dixieland takes place for the white race. So there's a little 3-race series up there that they run, and it's good practice for us, kind of tune up for the Dixieland. That's obviously a race we haven't won yet, and one we really do want to win. So that's kind of my short-term schedule here for the next few weeks, and hope to see some of you guys there.
Ty Majeski on the Morning Bullring on Speed 51. Ty, we thank you so much for joining us. A little bit late, but we appreciate you for joining us. Actually, we do have one more question for Ty, don't we?
I was going to ask him.
That's right. Go ahead, about the season.
Well, yes.
Now, that's what we got to get to, because we got to get off the air.
Winter, spring, summer, fall, what is your favorite season of the year?
Well, for racing.
For racing.
For racing. I would say fall. So I'm a big Oktoberfest guy. Up at La Crosse, that is so cool. And then going into the Governor's Cup and into the Snowball Derby, I just feel like all the fall specials is where it's at up in Wisconsin for sure.
Okay, hey, calm down. You're loud. You're very loud. I want to know, is the Snowball Derby in the fall or winter?
Well, technically it's probably in the fall if you're in Pensacola, but in the winter if you're in Wisconsin. So there's definitely some different ways of looking at it, I think.
I say winter.
I say fall because it's not December 21st
The majority
yet.
has been winter.
Yeah.
So
Ty, you're my new favorite driver, buddy, of the asphalt world.
He didn't agree with you.
He did.
No, he didn't. He said technically, but.
You could look at it two different ways. I'll play the middle ground on this one.
Okay.
Don't ruffle any feathers, yeah.
We have another Switzerland on our hands this morning, right?
There you go.
Ty Majeski, thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you at the track. I think you're doing Iowa with Chad Bryant Racing. I'll be there with you live on MAV TV with the ARCA Menard Series.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You got it. Ty Majeski. Man, he is so good in the super late model, but the guy is so talented. Ty Majeski belongs in the upper echelons of NASCAR.
He does. I think he deserves a full-time ride in the ARCA Menard Series right here, right now, definitely. And then I think he deserves the opportunity to bump up to the Truck Series also.
I want to see a match race between him and Bubba Pollard.
That would be
Wow.
fun.
Identically prepared race cars, like find somebody neutral to prepare two
Street
identical
stocks.
race cars. Even better.
Could you do that
Even
at Lucas
better.
Oil?
A match race.
With the winner take all event?
I forgot to invite Ty Majeski. I got to invite him.
But the thing is, you think about it. If you're picking asphalt super late model guys, those are two guys that anytime they show up at any racetrack, I don't care what division it's in or what race it is, they're definitely a favorite to win. I would love to see
We're
that.
going to have to do that. We're going to have to
Bubba
figure out a
Pollard
way.
versus Ty Majeski, 5 laps.
In street stocks.
10.
10 laps.
10.
But what were you going to pay to win?
I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Got to put our promoter hat on, because remember, I'm not the sole person at the Speed 51 Super
Right.
Select.
Gotcha.
So Tom's shaking his head. True. They might not need any money. But if you put money on the line, sometimes it's a little incentive.
Put him in one of them Vorse compact cars.
Oh, that would be fun.
Vorse Compacts at Bristol. There you go.
That would be, not Bristol. Lucas Oil Raceway. during
Lucas
the
Oil
Super
Raceway.
Select. That'd be good. You know,
You've
Bristol's
got-
awesome,
you've got
but
some
that's a
pull.
once-a-year deal.
You've got some pull up there at Lucas Oil Raceway with just with the people that are going to be there as far as with race cars and everything else.
Before I get myself into trouble even more, we're gonna sign off here, but we'll think about it for the Speed 51 Super Select September 7th. Remember, a lot coming up for Summer Thunder TV on Speed 51. Open Wheel Wednesday, Seekonk Speedway, Massachusetts, the Boston Louis Memorial for the NEMA Midgets, as well as the Tri-Track Modifieds. That'll be all part of your network membership, monthly or yearly. You can see it, plus plenty of racing this weekend, including the big Ultimate Super Late Model, Dirt Late Model race in Lakeview, South Carolina. Check it out. Thanks for watching Speed51.com's Morning Bullring.